What is going on, everybody? It is episode 629 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We're back from the weekend. Brett caught me by surprise once again. I'm shook. I'm shooketh. But Sarah is with us today, not Dane. I think we can just call it Woman Monday?
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Doesn't really have the same ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay.
Dan can have my spot. He really wants to be a woman, so.
That is true. He's
He's every
Woman
woman.
Wednesday. Yeah.
That only makes sense, honestly.
How you doing today?
I'm feeling good. It's feeling like a Monday with that intro, with that start.
Yeah.
That I was not ready
Well,
for.
first of all, everybody makes fun of me because I used to give everyone like a 5-minute and a 1-minute warning, and everyone's like, "Oh, Brett, oh, no, well, screw you guys." That's what happens when I do that.
Well, we need you to be the dictator who goes unappreciated.
I stop for one day, and everyone's like, "Oh, holy crap! Let me throw my headphones on. It's time to go live."
Then a
'Cause we're
3-second warning.
We're just primping ourselves and being the women we are with our powder puffs and everything. You know what we do.
Yes. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we do that, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. Again, and share this video with your friends, because the more people that come in here and hang out and then share the video with their friends, the faster this show grows. It really is the best way to help us grow this channel. So thank you very much for that. And remember, all Super Chats $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion and we will read those Super Chats right then and there. So yeah, what do we got to talk about today? Well, we are going to talk about Ben and Bennifer. There are more signs that apparently they are going to be divorcing because they put their house on the market. They spent all that time trying to find that new house, and now it's already going up for sale. So we're going to talk about that.
Psychotic.
We're going to talk about John Leguizamo. If you don't know who that is, I don't blame you if you haven't seen the Super Mario Brothers movie or Spawn or perhaps John Wick. He's known to be he's a good actor. He's also very whiny, and he's whining again because he took out a full-page ad in a newspaper basically saying don't vote for white people in the Emmys. So we're going to talk about it. We're also going to discuss Hollywood rodent men, which is the new trend. These guys, Mary gave me an insane descriptor earlier, as well as a bunch of different animal comparisons for men, which frankly, I think most guys might find mildly hilarious.
Not offensive? They wouldn't be offended by it?
Well, it depends on the animal, I guess.
Right.
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that. Also, if you guys followed along on X this weekend, SundressGate has officially moved in. First it was CalendarGate, and now it's SundressGate.
I'm going to assume that most of the people in the audience weren't aware of SundressGate because it's an extremely woman
and niche online
drama,
thing.
like woman-focused e-drama. But I don't know. If you did, I stand corrected.
If you don't know,
Yeah.
EV Magazine, which is, I guess you'd call it a conservative-leaning magazine. We've referenced for women.
The pretty much the most popular, or maybe one of the only online publications for conservative-leaning women.
Yeah, and they've made their first foray into fashion because they just released a sundress, and people were arguing about it. So we're going to get into that. Online, certain types of online discourse are fun to get into. So if you ladies are ready, we can go ahead and get started. Mary, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Sarah?
I'm ready.
She's ready. All right. Well, then let's go.
I'm ready.
Right when I said that, I was like, did I turn the volume up? I think it's up, but I'll check here in a second. All right.
Okay.
I have food news for everyone today. I don't often say that things should be illegal. I don't know where I sit on this one, you know, being that I'm not a huge fan of getting the law involved. But you guys let me know, should the law get involved with a new trend saying Kit Kats slathered in ketchup is the latest bizarre food trend?
If you're a politician who wants to smear himself in his own feces and roll around on the bathroom floor and release a video of it, Brett says it's in the privacy of your own home.
Yep.
Do whatever you want.
Yep.
If you put ketchup on a Kit Kat bar,
bridge
you
too
are
far.
going to jail.
Correct.
You're
That's
getting
where
the
he
death
draws the
penalty.
line.
Correct.
Period.
Correct. Bridge too far.
And, you know, that's a consistent worldview.
First of all, I never said that about the
Okay,
politicians.
I'm just
She's-
kidding. I'm just kidding. It's just a bit, guys.
But yes. What was the other one we had recently? There was another food one that was gross recently.
Pickles in Dr. Pepper, right? Was that it? It's like a southern trend.
I don't know if we actually covered that on here. Maybe we did.
Maybe we
like
skipped
a hot
it. I
dog
don't
water
know.
soda too out there.
We did
That
do hot
too.
dog water.
This
Yep.
is kind of our thing now. We're paying attention to the weird food news.
It says the latest disturbing. Look, this comes from. There's a whole subset of Instagram that's very, very popular where people just make gross food and then pretend to eat it? Have you ever
So
seen
they
these
actually
things?
do eat it.
Not all.
Like-
Look, a lot of times they take one bite and then it ends
Remember
the clip.
the-
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
proof that they actually eat
Do you
it.
remember the toilet cooking videos?
Yes.
Like people would cook pasta in their toilet.
Like this is
Like the
something that I've
things
been.
people will
the
do
views.
for views.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it says whether drizzled with ketchup, dipped like French fries into ketchup, or an entire bar smothered by it, the combination has gone viral for, like, as far as I'm concerned, for all the wrong reasons. This is disgusting. But I'm not a big ketchup fan to begin with, to be fair.
Kit Kat put out like a taste test video.
It says what?
Like,
Oh, here it is.
yeah.
Ugh.
Make sure it's a good bite for everybody.
What
Look at that. Cheers.
the Ew.
Don't try to eat it all classy with your hand under. You're eating a Kit Kat
She's like
lathered
then
in
she
ketchup.
she has the absolute audacity to like chew
Right.
like this.
It's like, oh, so dainty. Yikes.
Aw. We could have tried it. It was a missed opportunity.
That's actually really nice.
No, it's not.
She's
I
lying.
did try the mango Doritos, and they're disgusting. As you would imagine,
Expected.
as you
Yeah.
imagine a Baja Blast mango Dorito would be, it was absolutely disgusting.
The lime flavored Lay's chips are awful. They're just like Fruit Loops, but salty.
Very sour. Too sour for me. They're good with like dip, but on their own, I would never just want like a super sour limey chip.
I have been,
Nauseating.
I have been eating. What are they called? The
Cheese tacos.
no, I haven't. It's too expensive.
Isn't that just a quesadilla?
There's like Cuban sandwich flavored Lays that are actually pretty good. I mean, it's basically just like a
They have some pretty crazy flavors out there.
Yeah.
Like Korean barbecue and like
Could be okay.
yeah. That
ketchup
was,
covered Kit Kat maybe.
I think she's lying. I think she's doing it for views.
Well, she works for Kit Kat. She's a paid
really?
actor.
Okay.
Okay, that's even worse.
She-
They're like, you're the like low man on the totem pole. Now you've got to try this
Yeah,
viral trend.
she gets stuck with all of these TikToks, so she has to say it's good.
like literally she threw up right after that.
Yeah.
They cut the clip because she threw up after.
She's
that.
like, it's so good. Ew.
So much ketchup. Someone is saying, is it like dipping your French fry into a milkshake?
nothing
Like the
that.
salty and sweetness? Is that
No.
But
The
there's
appeal-
nothing salty in ketchup, right? It's just basically tomato syrup.
basically, yeah. Like sugar.
Disgusting. I'm moving on from this because my stomach can't handle it today. All right, Scott Disick.
Scott Disick's stomach couldn't handle
Maybe his-
an entire pack of Hawaiian rolls per day and 20 ginger ales, and this guy ended up taking Ozempic. Like, case in point, people, especially in Hollywood, are using Ozempic because they're incapable of basic self-control.
Yeah.
When, like, you know, shouldn't you be able to prove to your doctor that nothing else is working before you can justify
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
I mean, are they just buying it off of like eBay or something? What's happening?
I mean, it's Hollywood doctors, I'm sure. That's-
Right.
Yeah. But I like the idea that he's actually in the doctor's office eating a Hawaiian roll from a
And a
bag.
case of ginger.
Yes.
Yeah, and he said he didn't even know that ginger ale was soda.
This
like,
is why I love Scott Disick.
you love Scott Disick. You're
I
a
think-
Disick stan.
I wouldn't go that far, but out of all the Kardashians and all the people on that show, I found him the most tolerable. The realist. He's the realist.
But then he took the Ozempic too far, and he ended up in our Ozempic face short,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
going
is
pretty
he?
viral
Oh.
right now. He started looking like a corpse, seriously. But he said he had no idea how bad it was drinking 20 ginger ales a day. That just sounds like wreaking havoc on your system.
I
Yeah.
had no idea.
It's like he didn't realize by like the mountain of cans next to him in bed that he was doing.
And he said, I was pounding a whole box of Hawaiian rolls every night. I love them, but I didn't realize what I was doing. He also didn't realize ginger ale was the same as soda. It just seemed like a soothing drink.
I guess it's.
You have emotional issues.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like emotionally eating. I guess it's not alcohol, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, right. He used to have a problem with alcohol, right? So maybe he's
He
kind
did?
of,
Did he? I
Or
didn't.
was that Rob?
It was Scott. Rob probably too, but I remember specifically Scott having drinking issues. What was it? Courtney? He was with Courtney. was pissed about. I think it's a big part of why they broke up.
And now she's like, look, she's like, stop drinking that. And she gave him a ginger ale, and he got addicted to the ginger ale.
So they said he's living large these days now that he's skinny.
It makes his head look really
By the way,
big.
Hawaiian rolls aren't even that good, so I don't even know.
I think they're good.
they're not 20 of them
Remember
in a row
my
good.
whole like polemic about Hawaiian rolls being like a metaphor for humanity because we're all connected.
Do you want to re-explain that to people? Or maybe
No, I don't.
Maybe we never even talked about that on air. Maybe,
No, I think we must have. It was just a long time ago.
Okay.
I was just
Waxing poetic about the ways,
Hawaiian rolls.
about the way Hawaiian rolls really represent humanity and our struggle to stay connected.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Scott Disick doesn't want us to stay connected. He wants to pull us apart. I've got some bad news for everyone. Optimus Prime has been arrested. Now, if you're wondering who Optimus Prime is, it is not, in fact, an Autobot. It is an actual person whose name is Optimus Prime. It says he's a man from Texas. Law enforcement officials last week arrested him after he allegedly stole a vehicle. See, the real Optimus Prime doesn't have to actually steal any cars.
The fact that
clearly a
he's
phony.
not from Florida is shocking.
It is very much a Florida man story.
It really belongs, as a Florida man
How
story.
do we know he's not from Florida?
That's
be.
That's a very good point. It says Austin police said that the arrest affidavit that the 37-year-old Optimus Prime Blakely has been charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle who was stopped by officers on June 4th. He was seen driving that so it was a stolen vehicle.
Wait.
Again, he wouldn't need to steal a car if he was the actual Optimus Prime because he would just turn into the...
Was he actually in disguise?
He could have been a robot in disguise.
They said, as a robot in disguise, Optimus Prime took cover as a red and blue semi-truck. Is this a joke?
Yeah, that threw me for a loop.
I have no idea. if it's satire, it's my favorite satire of the world, but it's not.
And why is
April
it
Fool's
on
Day.
Deadline?
That's what I'm saying. Unless it's like, is it fake Deadline? I don't know.
This is real
But
Deadline.
it's-
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no description of the vehicle. It's kind of peculiar.
It's actually kind of fun because it's like the rest of the article's fairly no nonsense. So if it is a troll, it's a really fun one.
Did he like have that name from birth, or do you think that he chose it?
Well, given the names that parents are giving their kids these days,
Can you identify as a car now?
yes.
Wait, that's like isn't that like a kink of like people who like to...
Oh,
didn't a woman marry her car? Like, people have gotten married to...
that sounds. I mean,
But
the sad
we
thing is
thought that
sounds
about
real.
autosexual. We thought autosexual was
Yeah.
people who are attracted to
not.
cars.
Somebody in the chat when we mentioned that gave us the real one for cars. There is a term for it.
Yeah, it's like mechanophilia
Yeah,
or something like that. And I said I have submechanophobia.
Yes.
It's
That's
terrifying.
Fear of cars or fear of people who are sexually attracted to cars?
Actually, I have that fear too. But the fear of submechanophobia is you're afraid of machinery that's underwater.
Okay, interesting. Random.
So Ocean Gate people.
Like any of those rides at Disney that are like in water,
Yeah.
that would terrify me.
Or Ocean Gate.
I'm afraid of my limbs getting
Underwater
sucked
or
in.
like even just on top of the water?
just anything
Water related,
anything
you can't
water
do it.
related. Yeah. No.
We might have to explain to people what's going on with Chris Brown because a lot of people won't get this.
These women, these hoes, are going to Chris Brown meet and greets for thousands of dollars to get groped by
Pays
him.
up to $1,000. Like his fans pay $1,111.
Insane. They do not look like they have that much money to spend.
And with his reputation, I feel like you don't need to pay him for him to grope you or do inappropriate things.
Like, is it just the assumption? Can you go to the Chris Brown meet and greet and not get groped? Is this going to turn into a Me Too thing? Like, I went to a Chris Brown meet and greet and he grabbed my ass without consent?
I mean, it's one of those things where when people hear who the celebrity was that did it, they're going to be like, you went to a Chris Brown meet and greet and something
Yeah.
bad happened?
And looking at some of these women, honestly, they should be paying more for the experience. Because I wouldn't want to be Chris Brown in that situation. Really.
You know? He
Especially lady on the right.
He is living testament to the idea that if you just, like, for some people, you just ignore the bad press and it just goes, like, people just don't care.
Well, I feel like
I
that's
mean,
why he's
yeah.
able to do this.
Yeah.
The fact that like women just ignore all of his problematic past and present.
There's a $20 there from Dubby Nanners. Says, I drink like 20 LaCroix a day, and I will not admit I have a problem. It's everyone else's problem, not me. I'm fine with it.
LaCroix's probably fine, but I did see this scary video over the weekend where someone like did some kind of chemical test on San Pellegrino, and it has like, I don't know. I'm the person who just believes everything I see, but they found like metal in it. Then they said they're putting nanobots into the sparkling water.
So that's how it got in all the men's balls. All those microplastics got in through.
They're
San
nanobots
Pellegrino.
that the government is using to track your movement.
Yeah, that's how they caught Optimus Prime in that.
Yeah.
in that car. Look,
LaCroix's probably fine though.
Here's the thing. People are like, oh my gosh, why would women go do this? I'm like, well, what is the #1 genre that women like more than anything? True crime. Okay, so they're like, true crime. I went to a Chris Brown
Do they have
meet and
like
greet.
hybristophilia for Chris Brown, knowing that he's an abuser?
Oh, because he's like a criminal.
Yeah.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yikes. So someone else said women will pay $1,200 for a meet and greet with Chris Brown, but don't want to pay for their own meal on the first date.
That made me laugh.
Straight up.
Okay, I gotta ask you guys. I don't know if we're gonna end up covering this. Did you see that the new topic that's going viral? It's the men's version of the man versus bear debate, which is who would you rather talk to, a woman or a tree?
Who would you rather express your
Your
feelings
yeah,
to, a woman or a tree?
Yeah.
It doesn't really hit the same because like women will freely admit that. Oh, I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the feminists would say they want men to express their feelings.
Yeah,
but that would never be me. Like I'm not.
Feminists absolutely will say you should share your feelings. Some of the biggest horror stories you will ever read or see in the world are men who talk about how they cried in front of their spouse or their girlfriend and they just completely lost interest in them.
It totally depends on whether he has a good reason.
No, that's the thing. I'm not just talking
It's a
about
biological thing.
I am not just talking about his grandma or his mom or his dad died. I'm talking like, or no, I am saying like it's a perfectly reasonable situation. Like the one time they always say when your parents die, when your child is born.
Yeah.
Those are like
Whatever.
the two outs that men have.
Where you're
if you
allowed to
wanna-
cry.
Where you're allowed to cry. Right? And it's like, yeah, he cried when his dad died and I just lost complete interest in him.
I think that goes for like women who have serious emotional issues. Right?
Yeah.
So women.
That's next level.
I'm just
I mean women who have like mental illness,
Okay.
basically. Like women who have personality disorders.
Super narcissistic.
Yeah.
Self-absorbed.
Well, like, I mean, even some of them, they were like perfectly worded articles. They're like, look, I didn't want to lose interest in him, but I did.
This is why we need the word ick. It's important. It should
then
be
they-
added to the Merriam-Webster because
And
of
then
situations like this.
And then after the women lost interest in him, they forgave themselves and,
yeah. Yeah.
and broke up with the guy. I'm sure. I'm sure. Be careful, men. Just be careful.
Oh, also, one woman threw up a sign at a Chris Brown concert that said, "My engagement was called off because of you."
Yep.
Because I came to see you.
Yep.
Valid on the man's part.
Yeah.
If
she's
she
for the
paid for the meet and
streets.
greet, you
Yeah.
should not. You're for the streets.
Leave her for the streets and for Chris Brown. I also feel like if you are an attractive enough woman, and we're talking about Chris Brown here, I don't feel like you would have to pay for him to grope you.
I do
Yeah.
You
like
were like better looking
Yeah. Yeah.
or his type.
I do like his response to the woman to the sign. Says, "That's crazy. I love you, baby. I appreciate that."
What? He's a menace.
He you know who needs to go on tour with is Usher.
Yeah.
Like they need to go on. They
They're
need to go on
stealing
tour
everyone's
together.
girl.
They're like somebody's got to stop these guys.
That's
you can't keep getting
crazy.
away with it. All right. Nick Cannon is in the news. He has what now? 12 kids? Well, he has had his testicles insured for $10 million.
Do you think Elon's are insured for like 10 billion?
Yes.
Instead-
At least it's like weighed against like the stock price of Tesla and SpaceX.
Okay, he said, haters say it's time for me to stop having kids and put this super sperm to rest, but I'm doubling down on these valuable balls and my future kids. Shout out to Dr. Squatch for giving my balls the credit they deserve and hooking me up with the protection I need to keep this family tree rolling.
It's like a Lloyd's of London policy.
What? What do you mean?
Okay, so is this the type of thing where like it's just a some type of marketing ploy. I guess a gag.
Do you think he's lying?
It's a gag. I mean, there's people like pro wrestlers used to have their bodies insured because of how dangerous the profession was.
Sure.
You know, like
He's just a
like
professional baby daddy.
Yeah,
that's what he's
that's
chosen.
What he is.
It definitely looks like a sponsorship of some kind. I'm sure he got paid for it. My question is though, like, does the insurance only apply to his testicles?
Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch's ball valuation tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tweeted, "It's official. I have the most valuable balls in the world. Dr. Squatch has insured them for $10 million through their ball-to-ball coverage."
I love
What?
it.
Short coverage.
This video is insane. Ew.
Should we play it?
I guess.
You should. Yeah.
Now that Dr. Squatch has insured my balls for $10 million, I've officially got the most valuable balls in the world.
Nick Cannon's golden balls are single-handedly keeping the human population afloat. He's fathered 12 children that he knows of and shows no signs of stopping.
Smooth game gets you nowhere without smooth balls to match. For that, I trust Dr. Squatch. Put your balls in our hands.
I guess Manscaped was
This
busy.
is a Manscaped knockoff ad.
Yeah.
So it's not true. There's no proof that he actually did it.
I mean, I have no idea.
That's insane.
Be hilarious. Look, there was like a porn star who had his penis insured for like $1 million at one point. Because like based on like how much work he had done in the industry, so like a company sponsored it for like a.
What are the odds that your balls or whatever is like gonna like get blown off?
Yeah, why
of
not
you?
like full body coverage?
Like,
Why is
what's-
it just
What do you think is gonna happen to your balls? Like, that's my question. Like, are you going to get into some kind of freak accident?
He'll get kicked like one of those women.
Like,
right?
He'll,
I don't
one of these
understand.
women will be like they'll be
What
like,
are the
look,
risks?
they're like I don't want to be
Like, I have high risk balls.
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean?
I don't know. $10 million. It's a very valuable.
Do they have like a calculator on how much your balls are worth? Is
So
that-
Elon,
how's that?
how many kids does Elon have that are like publicly known?
Is it 8?
Similar numbers.
it
I think
8?
it's more than 10.
Is it more than 10?
And people think that some of his children aren't known to the public, so it could be way more than we even know.
It's like 6 degrees
Yeah.
of Kevin Bacon.
Like Amber
you're-
Heard's child.
Yeah.
She's never talked about who the dad is, and a
Yeah.
lot of people think it's him.
Could be.
I bet it is.
Could be.
I bet
Actually.
it is. Didn't he also have a kid with one of his secretaries or something? That
No,
didn't come
I
out
mean, it
till
wasn't like a
later?
secretary, but somebody who worked at SpaceX. Yeah.
And it didn't come out
Siobhan or whatever her
until
name
a few
was.
years later, right? Like when she'd already had the kid.
Yeah, and he's still bearing children with Grimes.
Really?
Via IVF. Like, you can remotely have children.
Oh my goodness.
She just every 9 months she
That's
goes to
funny.
the sperm bank and updates her family
Her
tree.
deposit.
All right.
Insane.
All right, you're going to have to tell everybody what the hell's going on with
Yeah.
Ben and Jen.
It looks like Bennifer 2.0 is officially in the dumpster because they just put their mansion up for sale, the $60 million marital home that they bought when they got together again. I thought this was doomed from the start, honestly. People are saying divorce is imminent, but it's not confirmed by either one of them, at least not publicly. I think it's likely because he always just looks so miserable with her.
Well, there was
And
a
he
picture
might have
that-
finally decided it's like done.
There was a picture that just came out today of like her like very blatantly putting the ring up for a photo out in public. So I guess they're still together, which, you know.
I feel like celebrities do that a lot. They'll buy these like $20 million homes and sell them a few months later and buy a new one.
Yeah. I mean, but they
So I don't
spent
know
a
if it's like an
long time.
investment, like
They spent
moving
a
their
long
money.
time looking for this house.
Yeah.
So I do
It
think
wasn't
it's
good
funny.
enough. It wasn't big enough.
It's like it's completely impersonal. Like he could be like one of them could be having an affair up here in the back, the top left corner
Yeah.
room, and down here on the other side of the city.
Ben smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
their home is in two different counties.
Actually, like to be fair, like it would be up here. She'd be up here, like working on her her like really vain documentary about herself, and he's like outside in the corner smoking a cigarette.
They're asking for $65 million for the house. That would mean they took a loss of millions of dollars on it.
Well, if they paid 60 for it, is that before taxes?
I guess. Yeah. But do you think that they're actually donezo?
I don't think.
And she's just in denial?
I don't think it lasts very long, personally.
Their marriage?
Yes, I don't think it lasts very long.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
This is not the fairy tale I'm looking for here.
Well, it's psycho behavior because I think I recall seeing some statistic that around 6% of ex-spouses end up remarrying each other, which it has got to be like a huge red flag on both of their parts, or it's romantic. I can't really tell which one.
In the movies, it's romantic.
Parents did that.
They did?
Yeah, they got divorced and remarried. to each other.
Weird.
In the movies, it's romantic. It's supposed to be romantic because the idea is like a couple that got married when they were young falls apart, gets divorced, but then grow up and mature and then find themselves again later in life. At least that's what the trope
They made
would
a
be in
movie
the
about
movies.
it,
Yes.
right? With,
There's been more than a few.
Who was it was like a recent one with like, it wasn't Judi Dench.
I don't know.
Sweet Home Alabama was kind of like that. But she tried to get divorced to like her high school sweetheart, and then they end up falling back in love and staying married.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's you can see where the story comes from in something like that. It's at least fairly interesting, especially with how much Hollywood likes to talk about. Though at least Hollywood used to tell a lot of those types of movies. They'd all have Hugh Grant in them. If they were
Is he gonna remarry Jennifer Garner now?
That would be really funny if he gets. He's been married 3 times.
He's been double married to 2 different.
Well, no,
women.
because he was never married to J-Lo the first time. So this is their first marriage.
Okay.
So he's been married.
Okay.
It'll be his 3rd marriage to 2 women. And people be like, the math's not mathing on this.
Jennifer Garner is just too stable for him. He needs the crazy in his life.
Who was he dating? Was it he the one that was dating Ana de Armas for a while? Marry her.
He was?
I think he was at a certain point.
Okay.
I know little of these things, but I believe that him and Ana de Armas were together for a while. So he could just marry her.
Does she have crazy Latina energy?
Was it Anna Day?
I have no idea.
She's I'm
guessing
like,
whatever energy it isn't as crazy as J-Lo's. So, and that reminds me. Okay, so also Meghan McCain spoke on this. She said that when J-Lo was on The View, she was deeply unpleasant, which made me laugh. That's a very, very
I wanna hear
kind way of saying this.
You know, she used to be a backup dancer for
the most
Janet
viewed
Jackson.
TikTok we have is me admitting that J-Lo coming on The View was not my favorite by a lot. I said it's not my favorite. I too share similar negative stories that apparently the entire world does too.
What happened?
I'm not
You
sure-
told me this, Megan.
I will tell you more offline. I actually feel bad right now because I feel like we're turning a point where there's like bullying happening to J-Lo, and I don't want to
That's arbitrary.
add to that. She just is a deeply unpleasant person. And
So does that not count? I'm sorry. Does that not count as bullying? Like
calling her unpleasant.
yeah. Like when does it officially
Well, it's the
become
truth.
bullying?
It's the
When does it?
If you're that unpleasant,
she's worrying about it. So when does it become bullying?
I think J-Lo is bringing it on herself.
I said this on the fork. She had the biggest entourage I've ever seen, like of a celebrity, more than Kim Kardashian and more than the president. Like I've never seen, and I just don't really understand why it was needed. I just know my experience, and I was a host at The View. It was not nice. She was not nice. Okay, and I'm. Like, whatever. You don't always have to be so nice, but it was just surprising given that people like Kim Kardashian couldn't be more delightful. And also, when you're coming on a show for like a 10-minute segment, like as myself, as someone who's been invited on shows for 10-minute segments, just fake it till you make it for 10 fucking minutes.
She needs to make a movie, like a comedy, a satire called, it'd be like J-Lo's Secret Service. She's got her own like Secret Service agents for
She
her.
literally would play a female president in a movie.
Yes.
This is the least believable world leader ever.
It's wait, cause somebody. Oh no, I'm sorry. She doesn't become president. She becomes a doctor.
She just played an astronaut, didn't she?
So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I might be misremembering this. In the original Independence Day, Captain Stephen Hiller, that's Will Smith's character, is married, or he's dating a stripper, and they're talking about how they'll never let him join the astronaut program because you're dating a stripper. But then in Independence Day Resurgence, if I remember correctly, and I tried to block that movie out, she's like a doctor. And I always love that story. So maybe that's what it is. J-Lo can be the president.
Maybe, we have Sad Fleck right now. Is he going to be Glad Fleck
Yes.
after the
he
breakup?
Will. He will.
He'll be
My
single.
theory is that
Here's
he
my thing.
just,
And
like-
Vivica A. Fox, who plays his Will Smith's girlfriend in that movie, can play J-Lo in the movie about J-Lo rather than J-Lo herself, to prove that she's not narcissistic.
We're not
Somebody
gonna
else can
get
play
Jilly
her.
too.
Yeah, right.
We could do. They
Oh
could do Gilly
gosh,
too.
please no. Please no. One was more than enough. Too
Such
much.
a loss
What
for the
if, like,
culture.
he keeps buying and selling these houses so he can kind of prolong never actually living with her?
Maybe the whole thing
That's-
was just a tax evasion plot.
I like it even more.
I
now.
like that.
Never mind.
The whole marriage
She
was
joins
just a
the
tax
win-
evasion plot.
She
between
joins the
them.
win column now.
You gotta get a photo of JLo now and frame
Yes,
it.
I have to add it to my list.
Her and
over there.
Shakira.
Yeah, I just I think for both of them, people are going to automatically put the blame on her because he's the one who looks deeply unhappy all the time whenever she's around. And somebody posted a thread the other day. They said everyone's going back and forth about whose fault it is, and then just said, but we all watched the video and it's the one of him just slamming the door shut when he holds it open for her.
Yep.
And said, you're thinking too hard about this. It's actually a lot easier.
It's very self-evident
It's
who is
very
the crazier
simple.
of the two of them.
I mean, and to be fair, she's the one. I mean, I guess he's been married twice now, but she's been married like 6 times. So, you know, I would say maybe they're both the problem, but she's probably more of an issue here than him. Especially since, you know, Meghan McCain isn't saying that Ben Affleck came with a gigantic entourage and made everybody annoyed.
Yeah, I've never heard anything negative about Ben Affleck's demeanor.
Just that he's looks sad sometimes.
I know there's a lot of people feeling bad for JLo right now because her reputation is taking a big hit. Her tour was canceled and everything like that. Nobody liked her stupid documentary about her album, about her movie. But like, this is her bringing it entirely on herself.
Yeah.
Because she's a narcissist.
There's a $20 right there.
I see all said my birthday is tomorrow. How big of a super chat do I have to purchase for y'all to sing me happy birthday live on air?
You, sir, are a psychopath if you actually want that. I guess it's different. It's different in Look, I have a hard and fast rule that if I ever experience like birthday singing at a restaurant, I will never speak to you again.
The birthday song is so cringe.
Plus,
It really is. I
wait,
feel
isn't it
bad
still
saying it, but
copyrighted?
it's
I don't think we can
never-
sing it live on air.
But isn't that why
It is,
restaurants
it
come
is.
up with their own happy
Yes.
birthday songs because it's copywritten?
Yes, I think if we sing it, we'll actually go to jail. So I'm sorry.
Wait,
can't
would
do
we
that.
actually get a copyright claim if we
can't
did
do
it?
it.
I have no idea.
Then it would need to be a pretty hefty sum. What do you say?
You come up with the number.
You definitely can't. Actually, I remember Tim having this issue with the Castle vlog. You can't sing happy birthday or you will get...
Happy. No.
Even just that got detected by the algorithm.
Yes.
You'll have to go with 100, although I feel bad
Yes.
for asking it.
I just don't want to sing the happy birthday song.
But that would make up for our ad revenue, so.
All right. So yes, JLo. Maybe what JLo needs to do is a little bit of introspection.
Does she need to find herself?
Who was her first husband? Again, I apologize for pleading ignorance on this. Who
Was
her
it
first-
Mark Antony? Or am I totally
I feel like there
wrong?
had to have been one before that because Mark Anthony was
I say
semi-recent.
Anthony, not Anthony.
Not
Mark
Antony.
Antony.
Not Antony.
Different guy entirely.
Let me
What is
JLo husband list. There have been. Wow, I'm
She's
looking
been
at her.
engaged 4 times and married 3 times.
What? I thought it was 5 times.
Okay, so the first husband was Chris Judd,
I don't know who that is.
1997 to 1998. Then Mark Anthony. Then Ben Affleck.
So just the 3.
It's saying she was married
I
to
thought
some
she
other
was-
guy
I thought she was married
named
to Alex
Johnny Noah.
Who can even keep track?
Oh, maybe it's We're thinking of engagements, not weddings.
But it says that she was married to Ben Affleck. Oh no, I'm wrong. Yeah. But at that point, you're the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably figure out what's wrong with you at that point.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying like do the math.
But that's not what's gonna happen.
It can't be them.
They're gonna get divorced.
It's not all of them.
She needs to see that clip of Jordan Peterson, except reversed to be directed at women, where he's like, all the men are rejecting you. It's not the men.
What she will do is she'll wait 2 weeks and she'll be like, he divorced me, but I'm forgiving myself.
And then
Yeah.
drop an album.
She'll forgive herself and then move on.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on then, shall we? What would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Sarah, you decide.
Cringe.
Cringe first?
Go with cringe.
Okay, we'll go with cringe first. All right, Mary sent this one to me. Ooh, the clip is already playing too. Here we go.
It was this horrible video of Glenn Powell telling a disturbing story.
Well, you want to hear a crazy story?
Yes, please.
My
Yes.
little sister was friends with a girl who went on a date with a guy. and they're hanging out. He's super charming. I gotta get all my facts on the story. I'm gonna tell you the story, and then I'm gonna let my sister fact check it.
Okay.
I hope I'm telling it correctly. But basically, she goes on a date with this guy. The guy's super charming, and they have a great night. And you know, she goes back to his apartment that night, and he's like, "Hey, can I give you a massage?" And then as she got back to his apartment, she just started getting like weird vibes. She's like, something feels off. And he's like, "Can I give you a massage?" And she's like, "Sure." So she starts massaging her shoulders. She's kind of just feeling like everything's just feeling odd. And she's like, "I got to get out of here." And he gets a little weird. Like, no, please don't leave. Sorry. Like, I'm weird, whatever it is. She leaves. She goes, her skin starts itching like crazy the next day. She goes to the doctor the next day, and he does a test on her skin. And it turns out that it's like a black market lotion that breaks down skin for human consumption. This man was rubbing lotion on her body to eat her. So the doctor's like, "You got to give me this person's address, and you should call the police." They go to this guy's house, and he had several girls' bodies in the house.
Oh my gosh.
This is your sister?
No, not my sister. It's like her friend.
Oh my
Cool.
God.
Everyone was saying that he was just lying and making it up.
Just making it up.
I don't know. That's like
I mean, it's
proof that
literally-
the ick will never steer you wrong.
It
Right?
puts the
I think
lotion
that's
on
what
its
you got out of
skin.
it.
Isn't it?
Now that there's a lotion out there that breaks down the enzymes on your skin for consumption. This is why we need to bring the ick back and put it in the dictionary.
She got weird vibes.
It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. It's Hannibal Lecter.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Wow, that's
That's like a more disturbing one that I've ever heard.
yes.
Don't go to strangers' houses.
Go
That's
listen,
also
Stop.
a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
go listen to the Greenskeepers song, "Lotion," and then you can, referencing the Hannibal Lecter. I watched, since we're on the topic of Glenn Powell, I watched the movie Hitman over the weekend on Netflix, and it was a lot of fun. And I do recommend that if you have Netflix, I certainly wouldn't go seek out a streaming service to watch this, but it's a very fun movie. It's based on the true story of a guy named Gary Johnson, who works as a college professor who works part-time as a fake hitman who helps the police catch people who are attempting to pay to have someone murdered. And things go awry when he falls for this woman who attempts to have her husband, who wants to have her husband, knocked off. And I have some issues with the script, especially towards the end, and the characterization of the woman. But in general, it was a fun movie. It's also proof because over the weekend, Olivia was watching Anyone But You, and it's all proof that Glenn Powell looks far better with the long hair rather than the short hair.
You said that shows Sydney Sweeney is not a good actress.
She's very bad.
Really? Maybe it's just not her genre.
It's actually kind of shocking.
Maybe
how
rom-com
bad.
isn't her thing.
And superheroes
No,
is not
it's not.
genre either.
It's literally
She's still
it's-
finding her way.
It's the line delivery. It's really bad. Like when she delivers the line, it looks like her mouth is knows what words it's forming as it's happening, so it sounds completely like wood. It's hilarious.
She kind of seems like she's stoned all the time.
Maybe
to
it's
me.
just
Is
the eyes, like she always has these dazed eyes.
And she seems very like, I mean, I didn't watch Euphoria. I only saw her in White Lotus. And it just seems like every word is kind of like strained and she's kind of monotone. But I don't know if that's just the character she was playing.
Yeah.
She's trying to show her range,
But I was actually explaining to Mary before the show today. I said the movie had an example. Look, we can argue all day about whether sex scenes are necessary in movies, but this was a movie that had an example of one that at least had some thought put into the scene. So what's going on is, well, he's undercover as the Ray character, which is the hitman. He's pretending to be the hitman to her, so she doesn't know that he's Gary Johnson. She thinks that he's Ray, and this is a somewhat meek, bookish man who then turns into another person while he's playing this character. And there's a scene cut together where him as Gary is explaining the id and the superego and the desire for something without regard to consequences, intercut with him in the middle of the sex scene. Now, there's no nudity shown, but it is at least an example of how one could at least somewhat explain why they're showing it, though there might have been more artful ways to cut it before it got to that point. There was at least thought put into it beforehand that it wasn't just, we need a sex scene, throw in a sex scene.
Do you believe Glenn Powell as a college professor?
No, so one of the great things about this, one of the great things about this movie is they do a great job character-wise. When he's the professor, he's wearing the button-up shirt all the way to the frickin' top in the world's worst-fitting khaki slacks. And then when he's Ray, he's wearing like his shirt's half unbuttoned, and you can see that he actually is in good shape and stuff. And then what happens is, as the movie goes on, and the character of Ray seems to become a little bit like they seem to kind of be melding together because he's spending so much time with the woman, he's like still dressed like a college professor, but it's unbuttoned a little bit, and he's and like his clothing suddenly changes. And there's even a scene where one of the women in the class, while he's explaining something, goes, "When did our professor get hot?" So the point is that he's playing disparate personalities, and he has to successfully embody both of them with only minor cues. It's not supposed to be overly
is he a good actor? Would you say he does a good job of kind of like molding those two characters together? Because that's kind of hard to do. That's kind of challenging.
And I mean, he also plays like he plays other, like the character of Gary Johnson. Then they find out that he's good at this. So what he starts doing, he starts tailoring different hitmen to what he imagines this client would expect.
Yeah, that was on the poster, is all of his different
So one of the great things of the movie is you could clearly see that he got to have a lot of fun, trying to embody all of these different callbacks to Hollywood hitmen in cinema. So it was a lot of fun. It's not the greatest movie in the world. There's definitely some characterization issues with the female, I guess you'd call her the female lead, the protagonist in the film, where they couldn't help but she's not meek or helpless enough to really buy into I was waiting for a double cross.
She's a woman who's attempting to get her husband murdered,
Yes.
so I don't think you would expect her to be meek and helpless.
But it explains, I mean, there's more to it that comes later where, like, it's harder to buy into her. I don't want to get too into spoilers in case anybody actually
Someone
wants to
did
watch
say
it.
spoilers, so
yeah.
be worried.
It's fun. I do recommend everyone go and see it. You don't see a lot of movies like this these days that are just pretty much fun like that. So go and check it out. I think it was worth it.
Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's do cute of the day. By the way, guys, we could use more cute of the day. So if you have pictures of your pets, go ahead and submit them. Hashtag PCC Pets. Tag me and the show in there, and I will work to get them on the show. I will do my best. First one here. This is from Layla Hedge. Says, had to throw up one more cute of the day of these little munchkins before they go to their new homes.
Aww.
I miss their cuteness, but not their poops.
Oh, cute. How can anyone not love cats?
All right. Let's do one more here. Again, guys, we could use more of these. This is from Pigtaku. There is a war on pens. Pick a side. You stand with Luna or in her war or not. So there's a war on pens.
Okay. I stand with Luna.
Very cute.
I stand with Luna.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? What the hell is John Leguizamo doing?
John Leguizamo had to let everyone in Hollywood know that he is still woke AF by announcing that no one should vote for white people in the upcoming Emmy Awards. He tweeted out this ad that he bought in a newspaper. He took up a whole page to write this open letter to the Television Academy and spread this message. In a tweet, he said, "I know everyone is exhausted about inclusion, but not us who are not included. So that's why I took this ad out in the New York Times. White people are only 58.9% of the population, but overrepresented in top positions across the board. They are the decision makers in tech, banking, corporations, medicine, and streamers, and Hollywood. America is better when it's inclusive. It is more profitable. It is more creative. Let's not give up. I'm still woke. Are you?" And he proceeded to tag everybody he could think of in Hollywood, including Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Reid, Anya Taylor-Joy, weirdly enough. Missy Elliott, Mark Hamill, tons of people. George Takei, some people you would normally expect. So here is what his open letter said to Hollywood. "Dear Hollywood, Please let this be the year we finally embrace change, the year we truly find equity and see artists of color represented across not just one category, but all categories. I know you're tired of hearing words like inclusivity and diversity, treading water while you try to understand how to put action behind these sentiments. Look no further. It's simple. There are hundreds of prolific non-white artists who deserve to be considered for awards this year, not because they are simply black, brown, indigenous, or Asian, but because they are truly great, exceptional artists who have achieved that greatness with a foot on their neck for far too long. Let this be the start of a new era. Let us not continue to whitewash our award shows. Instead, let this be the year this year be the catalyst that inspires the next generation of minority and underrepresented artists, a generation who might finally see a reflection of themselves on that stage and think, if they can, maybe I can too. Signed, John Leguizamo, the most irrelevant, whiny actor ever lived.
He might be the most whiny of all of them.
It just, for how whiny he is, you should be a little bit more relevant. Mm-hmm. But maybe, he would just claim that he doesn't get roles because he's Latinx.
Yes.
And in fact, his bio on X says, I'm a counterculture, outgoing introvert, Latinx, underachieving overachiever, trying to leave this blue pebble a better place than when I entered it.
Automatic red flag.
Corny as hell. Corny as hell. He's just like, the only headlines about this guy are about him complaining about something. It's never him being in a new project or talking about like doing press for anything. It's just him complaining about how hard it is to be Latinx in Hollywood.
It's taking advantage of the fact that I'm guessing a lot of those people don't realize he slipped the word equity in there and didn't say equality because he doesn't want equality. He wants equity.
Well, isn't that the DEI acronym?
Yes.
It has to be equity, not equality.
Yes, correct.
So I don't know if he even understands the difference between those words. I know.
No, that's the opposite. I think he does. I think somebody this invested in identity politics knows very much the difference between the words equality and equity and uses them for that exact purpose.
It's confirmed that Latinos are underrepresented as actors, at least, right?
Yes.
But he's trying to make this a whole collective thing about all minorities ever being underrepresented.
Asians and Latinos, definitely, more so than African Americans.
And he also feels that Latinx actors can't play good guys.
Which is not true, of course.
He played a villain in Violent Night, and we actually didn't mind his performance at all.
No, he's great in that.
No problem with that.
That conversation came up a lot when Blue Beetle was getting made, when the people involved with Blue Beetle were talking about, good guys versus bad guys.
No one cared about Blue Beetle and no one watched it.
Well, that's the thing. It made like, what, $25 million in its opening weekend, and the movie still had like a pretty big budget.
We'll talk when you make money,
Yeah.
This is just like, no one cares about award shows anyway, right?
Correct.
Except for the whiny actors.
They also said, like, he's said in the past, he's talked about how he's turned down all sorts of big roles that went to somebody else that became famous. So, like, what is it? Did you not get the roles you wanted, or did you turn down big roles?
Mm-hmm. Right? I feel like he's been a side character in a lot of famous movies.
He is. I mean, that's kind of what he's like. So one of the things that at least newer faces, like, I know him from The Pest, but people would know him from, or Super Mario Brothers back in the 80s and 90s. But like, he's in the John Wick franchise as Aurelio, but like, he's not a main character. He's just somebody who shows up in the movies, and he's great, and that's awesome. But look, the problem is when you have these types of complaints. First of all, they say in the article, he points out to let me pull it back up here so I can.
What I'm saying though is he has had success.
Yes, he is. He's an extremely successful. Yeah.
Thank you.
He says representation across not just one but all categories. Problem is, when you get to that, then it's not just about being nominated, it's about winning. So if nobody wins the award that they think, then they'll complain that they didn't win the award. There's no winning when you acquiesce to things like this, because they will always ask for more.
Right.
America Ferrera got a ton of critical praise for Barbie, even though her character was awful in Barbie.
Well, because the speech in it was the worst part of the movie.
They saddled her with the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. He also tagged Shaq. What?
I feel like when you say this, like, use your actions instead of your words, because now if someone who's underrepresented does win the Emmy, it just looks like a pity award.
That's what he wants, actually. I think that he genuinely wants pity awards and pity attention.
Participation awards.
Like, any feedback is fine for him. He's just somebody who likes crying and complaining. Like, I don't know. It's just you're being childish.
What's funny is I was talking with somebody about this recently about these types of policies are extremely prevalent in Hollywood because there is no actual merit-based. I mean, outside of box office, right? Like when you deliver a performance. Really, it doesn't matter whether you're considered the best person for the job or not because art is so subjective. They get away with it. It doesn't matter. That's why Nepo babies are such a big thing, right? How do you really justify or gauge how successful someone was at their job, especially in these secondary roles? Like a movie can fail, but if you're not the star of the movie, like the brunt of the failure isn't on whoever's second or third or fourth down the call list. So there's a lot of room there for, murky casting ideas because it doesn't really have a set idea of who the best person is for the job.
Is he just mad that straight cis Latinx men are like the white people of minorities?
He's like
he doesn't get enough points.
Pedro Pascal's like, look, I'm getting all the roles. Like,
actually,
I
true.
get all the roles.
True.
Okay?
But I basically see Pedro Pascal as white.
We were we're watching The Mental. Olivia had never seen The Mentalist, and he just shows up in season 6. This is back in 2015.
I agree with EVS. Yeah. He was just saying on Friday that like Pedro Pascal is the most strangely overbooked and overhyped person in Hollywood right now.
It's so weird.
Not the most, but up there.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
He's just
don't get the appeal.
They're like somebody's like, don't know who to cast. Put Pedro Pascal in it. It's fine.
Yeah.
What was it? He's unproblematic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
die out though.
John Leguizamo should just, go into Spanish soap operas. He would get a ton of roles.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's the idea that he wants the leading roles. Look, he's kind of too old to get a lot of the leading roles that I think he would want right now, right?
Maybe that's why he's complaining. It's just a him problem.
Like, it is. He tries to act like it's us. He's like, we've been oppressed. It's like, no. You
a
have
foot
actually had
on our
great
necks.
success.
Foot on our necks is crazy language.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, I like this one. Somebody says, let's add people with disabilities on this list, please. Another reason why you can't do stuff like
this. You can't ever woke hard enough.
Never enough.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm feeling a little underrepresented.
One person commented, "You're hardly oppressed, John. For starters, you have 10,000% more wealth than me, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't do my job. If there are more white people on board, it's because the country was founded by the English and they built it. They started the companies." And increasingly, that's not even the case because of corporate DEI. Not just Hollywood DEI.
And if you want some a white pill in this, is most of the comments, at least on his Twitter post, are criticizing him for saying
racist L.
Yeah, like look, people are looking for meritocracy when it comes to this. A lot of people point out this. Look, no, Denzel's not complaining. Denzel's getting the roles he wants because Denzel is good at his job. Yeah. And when he's put in a movie, no one questions whether he earned it.
It is telling, however, that he said, "I know you're all tired of hearing diversity and equity." Mm-hmm. Like, he knows that Hollywood is kind of inching further and further away from that type of language because it became cringe in the public square. Like, people don't like hearing about DEI anymore, and DEI became a buzzword like woke, and they don't want to associate with it anymore. It's not cool anymore to be woke. And he's like challenging all of these people to proudly wear that label who are kind of getting secondhand embarrassment. So that might be actually a positive sign if John Leguizamo is like the nerd in the corner still talking about how woke he is. Look, and nobody wants to associate with him.
Even Pedro Pascal has a reason to be annoyed by stuff like this because he was already getting popular before any of this stuff started. So he's like, look, I'm fine. I did
Like
it.
before current year?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he was getting a lot of those roles in 2015 and earlier, right? So
Honestly, I wasn't aware of him until The Last of Us.
I mean, that's just because it's bigger. He's bigger now, but he had to work hard when he was first starting out to do it without those types of crutches put on the performance. So anyone who actually got there and is actually talented should be the ones that are annoyed with these things.
Do you think that this is a sign that Hollywood is kind of moving away from wokeness?
No. I look. Okay, so here's something interesting for you guys. Bad Boys for Life. Oh, I'm sorry. Bad Boys Ride or Die. For Life was number 3. For Life was number 3, and part 4 is called Ride or Die. Missed opportunity.
Bad
there.
Boys for Ride or Die for Life.
No, but seriously, there is no reason why part 3 couldn't have been called Ride or Die. Literally no reason whatsoever.
They just didn't expect it to make it to 4.
Right.
So it made worldwide, it made over $100 million at the box office this weekend. Everyone that is sensitive to current year Hollywood that I've talked to said the movie was a lot of fun. And even Tom from Midnight's Edge was saying it's actually got a very pro-family message, and that the people, you know, the 2A people, Second Amendment people will love this movie and stuff like that. So that's a movie without... You know, it's got 2 big name actors. Guess what? They are minorities. It's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. But Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, who are big names in Hollywood. And it looks like a lot of people are enjoying it because it's a movie without a message. People just want to go. Like I saw one of the, I think the article on Breitbart said like normal people movie. It says Bad Boys overperforms at the box office because that's what people are looking for.
It's like, have you tried being normal?
Yeah. Well, there's Zach from Comics Matter used to make the joke. He says SJWs don't human very well. And that's kind of
like being normal was always an option.
Yeah.
Maybe they're finally realizing that.
Well, it's like, do I go to this crappy movie or do I go to this woke crappy movie?
Yeah.
But last week, you guys talked about that thread of celebrities who people say, like, I can't watch this person on screen anymore because their political opinions are so outspoken and so obnoxious. And like Mark Ruffalo was the first on the list. Yeah. And it included right and left wing.
Yeah, Jim Caviezel was on there as well.
John Leguizamo will always be on that list.
Yes. Oh, he was mad. The sad thing is, if this might even speak to his problem here, is like, I don't think I even mentioned him because he wasn't as relevant as the other names.
He's not.
So
he's shooting himself in the foot even more.
Yeah.
I think this is just a massive cope for being as irrelevant as he's become.
I'm definitely going to probably go and see Bad Boys for Life. Ride or Die this week. Because here's something interesting. In the first 2 Bad Boy movies, Martin Lawrence gets top billing, not Will Smith, because Martin Lawrence was the bigger deal.
Really?
At that time. Will Smith was, Martin Lawrence was already, he's like a comedian and he had the show Martin. Will Smith was doing Fresh Prince at that time, but he didn't become, so that was in 95. The original Bad Boys came out in 95. And then in 96, Will Smith does Independence Day. In 97, he does Men in Black. I could be getting these years off by like a year on either side. So there's like Bad Boys, Independence Day, Wild Wild West, Men in Black, and and then so on and so forth. So he became a bigger name. So by the time, like the first 2 movies, Martin Lawrence got top billing, and then third, and then the fourth one, Will Smith gets it. So
do you think it's gonna get Oscar noms?
No.
So he'll get that invite back?
Nor should it.
You said you saw people saying like, I'm not gonna see this because of Slapgate.
Yeah, that's a terminally online take. The average person would.
I got memory hold a long time ago.
Nobody remembers this happening. nor I would actually call into question whether anybody actually cares that much that one dude slapped another dude at an award show.
It should happen more often.
Together. That would be wild.
See
make it an annual
The
thing.
best thing that they could do is Will Smith and Chris Rock do a movie together. That'll put it to bed.
Yeah.
Chris Rock makes him get top billing, so Chris Rock has to get top billing in the movie because he's got all the leverage. Because he won't do the movie with Will unless. See, this thing is Will Smith made that show about slavery that came out on Apple TV.
That was a movie, though.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
Bad Boys should have been his very first film after Slapgate. It should not have been something serious. He should have gone straight back.
He was doing these cringe-ass interviews about that slavery movie where he was saying, I was getting flashbacks from my... Like, I don't know if he said this exactly, but he was like, I was getting flashbacks from my ancestral trauma. Yeah. It was just not a good look for him.
There was a video of... like Will Smith, like when they were walking on stage at like an event for Bad Boys 4.
He was like supporting Martin Lawrence. Maybe
yeah.
he was just drunk, but some people were saying he's becoming senile
Oh yeah.
or something. I don't know.
I heard about that.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get some super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, happy Wait, Sarah is here. How are we supposed to have Masculine Monday with all the estrogen in the room? Happy Monday, Brett, Mary, and Sarah. It's not Masculine Monday anymore. There was a good while where Dane wasn't on the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Busy guy.
We're glad that we can still have him. Quiet Inari said, would you rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a female police officer with a gun? Definitely the bear.
I'm gonna have to go with the female on this one.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know. She might fly off the handle.
Has she eaten lunch, and is it that time of the month again? Do I get further? Can I ask further questions?
Nope. No context.
Like if a female officer is like, sir, get out of the car. Like, ma'am.
You can't take those chances. Okay.
She's like, look, sir, can you get out of the car, please?
What's
Ma'am,
worse?
What time of the month is it?
What's worse, a short cop or a female cop?
Short cop.
You think a short cop
cop.
is a bigger red flag?
You could probably get away from the female cop. Short cop is gonna.
Can't get away from bullets.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't outrun the bullets. Sirenko Productions said, good thing I'm not eating right now. Thanks, Mary.
However, it would be worse. Like maybe you get pulled over by a female cop and you remind her of her boyfriend and she gets really pissed. And
Oh no.
I thought they were all lesbians.
Yeah. That happened to me once. I got a ticket and the cop kept telling me how I reminded him of his ex. I was like, all right, I'm not getting out of this one.
And he ticketed you?
He did.
Because of that?
No, it wasn't because of that. It was,
Wow.
I like the idea that he
mentioning
does the
it.
thing where
Wow.
he rips the ticket off. He goes, "You remind me of my ex." Hands the ticket.
Damn. Corey Anderson said, of the three of you, who is the silliest of gooses? I hate that. Who is it? We're not really silly people. We're very serious journalists here.
Very.
I'm gonna say Brett.
I'll be the silliest of gooses. Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. All right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the people in the chat will need you to explain to them what the hell a rodent man.
Sure thing. I'm happy to do it. So there is a new dating craze with Gen Z. Gen Z women are obsessed with men who resemble rats. They really are saying this is a hot rodent summer. They want to get a hot rodent boyfriend. And they're creating all of these lists of men in Hollywood who resemble rodents. And it's considered really hot right now to look like a rat.
This is why these lists are why women will never be happy.
I mean, we've talked about this before. They just love categorizing people and giving people like animal categories for how they look.
This is why women will never be happy.
This is the newest one.
Like because some girls can be like, your boyfriend looks like a what was an animal?
Eagle.
Like but there were less flattering ones. Somehow I feel
like a baboon.
Like your boyfriend looks like a baboon, and she'll be like, what?
But they emphasized, okay, like hot rodent man isn't supposed to be an insult. It's actually a compliment.
This is a picture of a bunch of them, right?
So we've got Barry Keoghan, Jeremy Allen White, Kieran Culkin, and that last guy, he was in Challengers, right?
I have no idea. He just looks like fetal alcohol John Krasinski to me.
The term hot rodent has gained popularity among Gen Z, referring to men who are considered attractive despite not conforming to traditional standards of masculinity. These individuals are often slender with angular faces and fine features, making them stand out from the typical eagle handsome or bear handsome types.
Again, so some girl is going to tell her friend that her husband is bear handsome, and she's like, what does that mean? Or she said, your boyfriend is bear handsome. Your boyfriend is cockatoo handsome.
I haven't heard that one yet.
She's going to be like, I don't want to date a cockatoo handsome man. I want an eagle handsome man.
Yeah, and It's Always Sunny, they always make fun of Dee for looking like a bird.
And this is why women will never be happy, because they will never find a man who is the right type of animal handsome for them, because they feel the need to make these lists.
Well, they're never going to be happy because they're all breaking up with their golden retriever boyfriends in order to get a hot rodent man. So Barry Keoghan has been dubbed a hot rodent due to his slender build and striking features. Kieran Culkin is appreciated for his unconventional good looks and endearing sense of humor. Jeremy Allen White earned a spot among the hot rodent ranks.
But Jeremy Allen White is like in ridiculously good shape.
Sure.
So that helps.
He's giving more like, he has like the Roman nose. Like they said,
This is why men will always be happier. I'm sorry, because men will never think this. Like, men will never say she looks like she has a Roman nose.
No, they won't.
There's
just it's kind of more of a binary. You're either attractive or not. And then a ton of them are saying that the co-stars from Challengers, who were Zendaya's love interests, looked like Stuart Little and Roddy from Flushed Away. You remember Flushed Away?
Not something I've seen.
You never watched
I never
it?
saw it.
Nope.
That was an iconic movie.
Look, there's
So hot rodents possess the following traits: fine pinched facial features, slender build, angular faces, unconventional looks. They have witty and charming personalities, sensitivity and emotional intelligence.
See, all of that is just a weird type of projection. There's a reason why men like this are popular in Hollywood. It's because they have striking features that are unique, right? There's a reason why Barry Keoghan. Look, if you look at like these pictures here, Barry Keoghan looks like fetal alcohol Ezra Miller, right? And Jeremy Allen White looks like Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
He does,
it's really such a shame that Timothy Chalamet got the Wonka role when he should have gotten it.
So look, there's a reason for casting men like this in movie roles, because they have striking features that stand out on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Projecting all of this onto something to do with their masculinity or lack thereof is insane.
Well, the last trend we talked about was baby girl energy, which would include Jacob Elordi, Timothy Chalamet, and a lot of
always
these
gets thrown in.
more effeminate male stars in Hollywood who dress effeminate, and they have like long frilly hair. But it's all about that, like, eschewing toxic masculinity, right? So one of the key points is that hot rodent men convey the opposite of toxic masculinity. They publicly show love to their partners, but in a slightly weird but sexy way.
They're just making this shit
I
up.
don't know what that means.
They're just making
but
this shit up.
Break
Also,
that
the
down.
girl version of this would be Anya Taylor-Joy.
You think?
Yes, because she
But
has
men don't like
No, but
Anya
I'm saying she
Taylor-Joy.
has a striking look, and there are
Men-
plenty of men that find her attractive.
Every
but-
time people talk about Anya Taylor-Joy, all the men are saying, like, she's ugly. They're all saying that. Same thing happened with Halle Bailey, because she has an unusual looking face, because that eye distance.
I feel like there's a weird amount of like as soon as you get past the looks part, like you can judge the looks, that there's trends right now and what's attractive physically. When you start projecting like emotional traits and personality quirks onto them, you've entered the world of Tumblr fan fiction.
I don't know. I am sympathetic to it because I do believe physiognomy is real. Like, I do believe you can pretty reliably predict personality traits based on someone's facial features.
Interesting.
So I'm not totally skeptical of it.
I feel like rat-faced and what was it, masculine, like a strong masculine man?
Not toxic.
People in
Not
the
toxic
people in the
masculine.
chat are on
I don't
for
think
Anya.
those go hand in hand.
You think the rat men are toxically masculine?
No, it goes along with male
just-
feminists.
Are they-
I mean, attempting to look trying to look unthreatening.
I just feel like I wouldn't trust someone who has like a rodent face.
I wouldn't either.
you know?
Yeah.
By the way, the chat is showing out for Anya Taylor-Joy. They're saying you're wrong.
Okay, well, I always am saying that I love Anya Taylor's face, and I think she gets too much shit for looking unusual. I love her face. I just usually see men saying negative
Mary
things
is
about
not
her.
saying that she's unattractive. Mary's saying that the discourse she has seen around her says that.
Yeah, I think she's way more attractive than someone who's more conventional, like Margot Robbie, for instance.
She has a very unique look about her. And again, a casting director, somebody who knows that they're going to have to photograph her, put her in front of a camera, says,
Yeah.
look, that's a striking look. It's going to stand out on camera. That's a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, the hot rodent boyfriend is definitely, associated with the opposite of toxic masculinity, because he looks sickly. He looks like, he needs to be fed some cheese, maybe. He needs to be fed some cartoonish looking yellow cheese.
I read this article that says others have attributed this to white mediocrity because it's mostly it's all white actors that they're talking about here.
It's controversial.
And Julia Fox has highlighted that this is a double standard between men and women, saying she wishes that women were afforded that luxury. Well, they are. It's just it's fat women that are afforded that luxury because body positivity is the one that's the women's version of this.
I think she's trying to say that it's less popular to have unconventional looks for women. Like
and
women
have them found attractive.
Yeah, like women seem to have like a more broad set of different types of hot men that they're into. Whereas for men, it seems like, she's either attractive or she's not.
Another person said that this is just a simple example of male privilege, dad bods, rodent men, and other ways we elevate mediocrity or plain old normalcy in men while still holding women to unrealistic beauty standards and perpetuating female body dysmorphia.
Yeah. Another one said
Lizzo has stomped into the chat.
The word rodent was nasty as hell, but please remember that women rarely get considered for roles in Hollywood if they are not considered conventionally attractive.
Also not true anymore.
The standards for men are in the pits of hell compared to women, and women are judged way harder in the public eye. I completely disagree.
Hollywood is full of less than conventionally attractive women now. That's they want to do that now. The same reason why when you go to Target and you look at the billboards and the things that advertise the clothes that they're running, there's all sorts of different body shapes and types because they believe that we live in a society so narcissistic now that you don't want to see what was once considered the height of beauty. They think that you just want to see normal old Cheeto eating you. Looking back at yourself.
Cheeto eating you.
That's what they think.
Orange fingers and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they should do that. They should do one where it's like a lady advertising like a dress and she's like, there's just Cheeto marks on the shirt.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of the inclusivity for sure. And every time that I'm trying to scroll through, I'm online shopping, I have to see people's weird birthmarks and surgical scars and tooth gaps and vitiligo and stretch marks and cellulite and fat rolls. And I just don't care for it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see beautiful people. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with wanting to watch beautiful, aspirational people in your entertainment either. Mm-hmm. But that's also something that we can all agree on. The rest of the internet, not so much.
All of those men, it's simply the face, and the rest of it, they're all traditionally in good shape. So it's got nothing, women get more leeway.
That's what men are attracted to?
No, I'm saying that those men that they're giving examples of are all are in very good shape because they're camera ready. They just have unique looking faces.
Would you say men care more about facial features or body?
I think they care about both.
But what's more important?
I think it varies depending on the guy.
It very much depends on the guy. Yeah.
Interesting. Because, that girl on Bridgerton who was just bragging about how she demanded to have nude scenes.
See?
Because she's fat and she wants to force people to look at her. She has a perfectly pretty face. There's nothing wrong with how she looks. It's just, the fact that she's obese.
Yeah.
And she's overcompensating really hard for it.
Look, if you go back and you watch television from 15 years ago, the general level of beauty on screen was far higher because that was just the barrier to entry. You were expected to be good looking on camera. Mm-hmm. There's leeway given to a beautiful lead will sometimes have a less attractive roommate or a less attractive coworker or something, because they're drawing comparison to them, and it shows you who the lead is now. Now that's not the case anymore, and there's a lot of mediocrity all around when it comes to Hollywood these days.
So what animals are considered offensive versus complimentary? I've seen bear handsome, I've seen eagle, I've seen reptilian.
Somehow I feel
there's golden retriever, dog handsome.
Somebody might take an issue with being called reptile handsome. Perhaps
they said Timothée Chalamet was reptilian handsome. Are all of them considered offensive?
I actually can see that.
But yeah, kind of he has a serpentine.
He has this weird sleaziness to him.
Is that what Draco Malfoy would be? Because he's a Slytherin?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Wow, I actually could sit here and categorize all these men into animal groups.
And you will,
it's a thing.
And you will be less happy for it.
I think Daniel Radcliffe was also on one of these lists. He's considered rodent-like.
Handsome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I will never have to worry about thinking about these things on a regular basis. At work, and that's it. Women will be making lists long into their free time.
They do it to themselves, too, like with the boy pretty versus girl pretty thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it plays into women's neuroticism.
Yes,
heavily.
for sure.
There was one trend I remember on TikTok that was like women saying they want to be pretty, but in the way that boys are pretty. Do you remember that? Did you guys hear about that trend?
Ugh.
No.
So it was like girls that would cut their hair short and then kind of like slick their hair to the side and wear like suit coats, trying to be.
But it never works.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because now you're just pretty in a masculine way, I guess. I don't know how you describe that, but.
So here's the problem, right? Like guys will just say she's pretty, and that's fine. Women will say he's pretty, but this kind of pretty. Well, I don't want to date a guy that looks like bear pretty. I want eagle. I don't want bear handsome. I want eagle handsome. And then they'll dump a guy who's treating him perfectly fine. And then a couple of years go by and you end up with that video we saw last week of where did all the good men go? Because
you're too busy categorizing them into animal groups.
She's like, I'm sorry, I only found eagle handsome good men. I didn't find any bear handsome good men. And frankly, that's a problem. I know my worth, she says, before dying alone with cats.
Right.
It's a problem.
I know.
I feel sorry for you ladies.
Everyone says that Glenn Powell looks like a capybara, which I kind of see. It's not supposed to be a bad thing. Obviously, Glenn Powell is super handsome. You know?
It's so funny. So again, him with the long hair, he had like the haircut he has in Hitman is objectively one of the worst haircuts you can have, and he's probably the only one right now who can pull. It's straight out of the 90s. It's like it's long to here, and it's slicked all the way back. But then you see him with short hair in Anyone But You, and he's far more striking. His appearance is far more striking when he's got the long hair. That seems to fit the demeanor of the characters he's playing. Whereas the short hair, he just looks like any other Hollywood actor.
I think everyone just pretends that they're more picky about looks on the internet, but when it comes to real life, people just tend to date people within their own league. And things kind of sort themselves out.
Guys who are bear handsome are also at an advantage now because they can be alone in the woods and the women will choose them.
Well, that's just a gay term, right? Did women just adopt that term from the gays? They're all twinks, bears, whatevers.
Yeah.
No idea.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Like a burly, big man.
Okay. So it's, I mean, is that, all right. That makes sense.
Okay, now you're just lying. You've never heard gay men call other gay men bears?
I don't engage in conversations where gay men talk about the levels of attractiveness of other men, ever.
Okay. We'll believe you.
I could
You've
see,
heard
like,
of twink, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
so it's like the opposite of a twink.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Basically,
I
yeah.
guess. Like, it makes sense as a descriptor.
So gay men do this and straight women do this, but not straight men.
Makes sense to me.
But there's the hot, pretty, cute distinction as well.
That makes more sense to me.
That makes sense to men.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can wrap my head around that.
There's just the 3 categories.
Again, you ladies categorizing everything is why you guys are going to have a hard time settling down because you're going to have to take from this category.
And then you
got
to do the astrology chart on every guy to make sure he's astrologically compatible with you. You're just never going to find someone.
They're like, why can't I meet someone? It's because or did you see so a dude did the math on the man in finance meme of 6'5", blue eyes, trust fund, and he distilled it down. He's like, there's like 2 people.
Barron Trump.
Barron
Trump is one of them.
It's like 2 people in the whole country. That's who you've.
So that all the ladies want Barron Trump, basically.
Yes, basically.
He's top G.
Yeah.
Like actually.
Okay, let's go to Super Chats. Shane H. Wilder said, why try to be classy when eating Kit Kats with ketchup? If you're going to eat heathen food, you might as well eat like a heathen.
Oh.
Eat a Heath bar with ketchup like a heathen. Drewish AF said, it's my birthday. Can I please get a happy birthday from my favorite podcast? Please. Love you guys. I am sexually attracted to my car. That was all the same message.
Happy birthday. Don't do anything,
Don't do anything questionable with your car, please. Don't essay your car.
Well, if you're in the privacy of your own garage, go ahead.
I disavow. Dubby Nanners said, question for men, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a dog or a woman? Well, it depends.
Men?
What dog it is.
Yeah.
What would you
Again,
say?
I reject
dog or woman.
I reject all of these questions because of the lack of.
Wait, your answer is
specificity.
just yes.
Yeah, yes.
Then you get both the dog and the woman.
I want the
Yeah,
woman
two
a woman holding the dog.
You're gonna feed the woman to the dog if it's a pit bull.
And become best friends with the
Disavow
dog.
that one.
Gordon Shumway said, I did the woman tree conversation to some random woman. She had a conniption. I told her, now you know why men were so up in arms about the bear.
Yeah, I mean, nobody likes to be generalized.
I mean, I don't really understand I guess just as a woman who will admit that I don't think men should be crying all the time, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm being honest with myself.
Gentlemen, be very careful with revealing your feelings to women. Very, very, very careful.
The Manic Mustache said, hey gang, great to see y'all on a beautiful Maiden Monday. Y'all might
there
be
you go.
the first to make me nauseous while talking about food, and I've been fully submerged in a septic tank.
Ugh.
Yikes.
Ugh.
Sorry.
You must have a strong stomach. Sorry for that.
Let's do one more.
200 Watt Studio said, is it true you had to replace the broken chair that EVS sat in last Friday?
The chair is still there.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Did not happen. We have very sturdy chairs. Brett actually is the only person who has broken a chair.
I'm the
here,
one who
and it's
breaks the
because
chairs
you
here.
sit in chairs violently.
I am basically Macho Man Randy Savage every time I sit in the chair. I drop an atomic
You act
elbow.
like you haven't sat in like 10 years, and you're like, finally.
All right, it's time to move on. Time to talk about SundressGate. I'm sure a lot of people have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, SundressGate was the latest controversy that took over right-wing Twitter over the weekend. So I think this all started because every time that spring or summer rolls around, men are trying to tell women, please wear sundresses. And then all of these women meme about how, sorry to be graphic, but they say they want to get railed in a sundress. That's not my verbiage, it's just the one that they use.
Jeez, Mary.
That's just what they say. I see this every year, every spring. Everyone is talking about sundresses and how men just love seeing women in sundresses. So the premier publication for conservative-leaning women, EV Magazine, decided to, corner this market and create the perfect sundress, or at least their definition of it. They actually posted this video on Twitter about why men love sundresses. So I wanted to play that for you guys. It actually brought this man to tears.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Please explain to me what it is about the sundresses that you like so much.
Oh, allow me to regale you by asking you some questions. What is it about getting an extra $1,000 that you love so much? What is it about that first sip of water after a day spent in the scorching sun that you love so much? What is it about nourishing your body with food after having spent the day famished that you love so much? Seeing the yams in such a beautiful and vulnerable state is a reminder to us that although hell is upon us, the heavens still take their time to shine and smile upon our lowly lives and remind us that life is very good.
Oh my goodness. Literally brought this man to tears. Okay, so clearly men love sundresses. And I think that the reason this controversy arose is because Evie decided to release this sundress as a way to appeal to men and to look pretty, which are both things that women love. Only one of those things is something a woman can admit to herself. Okay, we cannot admit that we want men to find us attractive these days.
Wait, you mean
not.
You don't wear the push-up bra in public for you?
No,
I was always told
unfortunately, no.
I was always told that the women wear the short skirts, the push-up bra and the heels because they want to feel pretty to themselves.
Mm-hmm. So, I think the controversy started amongst women, and a lot of women were not satisfied with this product. Let's show the product as it was modeled. Here,
just from the article, I guess is
in this the tweet where they released this video.
Is it in this or is it theperfectsundress.com? We just go to the website. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I just sent you the link to the video
Okay.
where they modeled it. I just think that they chose a model who didn't like smile or laugh in the video, and it made it seem like way more sexualized maybe than you would normally think of a sundress. Like it's supposed to be a fun thing.
Yeah, she's not exactly like...
She's not smiling. I think that's the issue.
Like, shouldn't it be like fun and fancy free or something like that?
Yeah.
Like there should be some actual joy on her face.
Yeah.
You can't just throw on the
Not
sundress.
not look like a guy just asked her to go go Dutch on lunch.
Yeah, she doesn't look happy. Yeah. But it seems like a cute enough dress. I don't know. You're the man. What do you think?
The yellow isn't a great color, but it's cute enough. It's good. I saw a lot of
that one's sold out.
I saw a lot of people
arguing. Does it bring you to tears?
It doesn't.
How much you love it?
It doesn't bring me to tears. Look, I saw a lot of people arguing about the height of the cut on the dress because conservative people are gonna purity test one another.
Is it above the knee?
A lot of the women were saying this isn't modest enough. A lot of them were upset that it looked like it wasn't good quality, like it wasn't constructed well. And people just had a million different theories as to why they hate this dress. So I saw some takes. One person said, men can't comment on SundressGate because they're willfully misunderstanding the situation in order to turn it into some sort of psychosexual drama that involves them. When in actuality, the dress just looks cheap, has an unflattering, boxy fit, and is made from synthetic fiber, yet costs over $100. It's just a poorly made, overpriced dress. Evie needs to take the feedback in stride and try again. Another one said, the thing to understand about SundressGate is that obviously men think women look cute in sundresses, and most women rightly find it threatening to their core sense of identity and agency if they overtly wear something men like. It's much more important that their female friends like their choices, and anything girly risks the wrath of friends for pick-me behavior. To appeal directly to male sexuality without first going through the filter of female consensus is traitorous to the sisterhood. What you have here are two warring social dominance strategies. One woman attempts to mog with a direct appeal to male sexuality, and another woman mogs by stepping in to punish with consensus judgment of women and gays. Owned.
You ladies will never be happy, and I feel bad for you. I genuinely feel bad for you.
I feel bad for whoever wrote that essay.
Also, here's an interesting, like, if you care about the color of the dress, here's an example of how the colors look different depending on the lighting of the post.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't look good on me because I'm pale, but the model is tan, so it works for her.
She's like super tan.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they had to do that so the dress
She looks like
vibrant.
she's being held captive.
A lot of people felt like it looks too adolescent for adult women to wear it. It doesn't look grown up enough. Someone said, you can keep your overpriced adolescent Evie dress. If I ever spend good money on a real sundress, it'll be something like this because I'm a fully grown woman who has taste. But, you know, most people were saying positive things, at least as far as I could tell.
Mm-hmm. Why is this such a big deal? Like, who is Evie? Their conservative magazine?
That's just the name of the magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people are pissed because their whole thing is what? It was made in Miami or something?
They're mad because it's not made of pure cotton. They're mad because it's not modest enough. They think it's way too revealing.
Okay.
They're mad because it's appealing to the male gaze. Did I miss anything?
I felt like most of the discussion I saw was about the materials and it not being modest enough. I'm picturing a bunch of women with tape measures.
Oh, they're also mad because it's overpriced.
Yeah.
They think it's overpriced. And they're also mad because they think it doesn't look like it's quality enough.
Look, have none of these ladies seen what the women of Con Inc. look like when they go to these conventions and stuff like that? They're all wearing dresses of
they're basically wearing bodycon dresses.
Yeah.
Like for the male gaze.
Skin tight, pencil skirts and dresses that are designed to be flattering and attractive, which is why, that's where you run into the neocon conservative versus a religious conservative, which will have different ideas of where your morality should fall with your clothing. And the rest of us are just like, again, and I'm just like, man, it's got to be rough having to like worry so much about what
other people think.
Yeah.
All of this could be solved if
well, I mean, not just that, but just like, all the way down to your clothing and stuff like that.
Well, it seems like no one can decide on what a sundress even is. And no one can decide on what a woman is.
So it's become a semantic argument.
That's the real problem.
Really, like, we don't even know what we're talking
Honestly,
about.
that would be a great segment where if like a bunch of
I'm gonna do the "What is a sundress" documentary.
No, like that's what, see if somebody that's what somebody on the left should be doing right now. Is like they're like, oh, what is a woman? Oh yeah, well, what the hell is a sundress?
From the perspective of the sundress.
Yes.
I looked up a definition. It just says a light summer dress with a bodice that exposes the arms and shoulders. So that fit the definition.
To be fair, okay, so there are examples of this happening to men. For instance, when Tim interviewed Trump, people were mad that Tim didn't wear a suit to interview Donald Trump. So even then, I find that to be, if you're a dude having that argument with people online, it's kind of embarrassing for you.
One take I can definitely agree with is no straight man should be interested in this debate to begin with. If I saw a bunch of men arguing about guns, cars, or video games, I would be immediately uninterested, that I would forget about it the moment and scrolled far away from that nonsense. A lot of you need to be caring a lot less about women debating fabric, waistlines, and color choices. I am begging you to go build something and stop worrying about this debate. Men used to go to war, essentially, and now they're arguing on Twitter about what a sundress is.
Well, I mean, I grabbed the 3 tweets that I saw because I thought this is Calendargate 2.0.
It is.
But I didn't see any men, at least I didn't see a whole men discussing this.
Well, the universal consensus from men is that they like sundresses, right?
Yes. As on behalf of men everywhere, I speak confidently when I say, do more of this. You'll be fine.
Why sundresses in particular?
I don't necessarily. That just seems to be the catch-all that they have for it. But men like women in skirts and dresses and looking feminine. Especially,
like the most feminine
what
thing
is
you
the
can
one thing
wear.
I rage against all the time on here? I'm like, women, stop wearing baggy pants. It's unbecoming.
I mean, yeah. But then every time you say something like that, they'll be like, it's not for you. I'm wearing my outfits for the girlies.
Yeah.
Or they say everything I do is for the girls and the gays. Even when it's not true.
Look, in men do criticize what other men wear usually, how other men dress, and that's always funny to me.
Oh my goodness, have you seen that account that just, analyzes menswear? I think it's called Dye Workwear, and this guy just creates these elaborate threads about like why Andrew Tate's blazer doesn't fit him right. He's like very opinionated about the fabrics and the tailoring, and he's like, this is clearly not bespoke. Like he does that a lot. So it's not just women's clothing that gets picked apart online.
The funny thing is, even in like industries like skating, there's arguments about there was always discussions about baggy pants versus loose pants and stuff like that. But even like, look, people criticize like the shirts that I wear because I wear like long, curved hem shirts that they make fun of, or how I dress. So what? Like, I'm a dude. I don't care what you wear.
How would you say men feel about modesty in the way women dress?
I think that this is a debate that can't even be had in these circles because conservative circles are so detached from what regular men and women are like.
Reality.
Well, then if you're not one of those conservative men, then as the representative for
regular dudes
everywhere, what would you say?
Wear the sundress.
Do you think that women dressing modestly is important to some degree to you?
Yeah, I guess the idea would be like, where do you draw the line at modest? I don't really care. I would, okay, let me rephrase that. I would care if it's somebody that I'm dating. Like, I care about the looks of somebody that I'm with, but that's such a generic definition of like, what does it mean to be modest? Like, what do you find appealing? What don't you find appealing?
I've heard guys not caring if their girlfriend goes out like dressed unmodestly. But I feel like if you genuinely care about the woman, you don't want her to go out dressed inappropriately.
Yeah. It depends on where you draw the line on inappropriate, right? Like,
well, yeah, but what is your line?
These
that
women
you consider inappropriate?
I don't know if I've got
Pasties?
I'd have to
Like-
yeah. I'd have to do some thought on that. I've yet to see
Do you think leggings as pants is...
that doesn't bother me.
Like, I just see a lot of men complaining about how women wear leggings as pants these days and how it's inappropriate and you can see everything.
That's not inappropriate to me.
No?
No.
But like, what is? Because the line is constantly shifting further and further closer to being fully naked. And I don't know how much further we can go.
I wouldn't want, okay, so here's the, like, black leggings, fine. The ones that look like your skin color, weird.
If they're light, that shows more.
Yeah.
So you would say they need to be black.
Because black leggings would just look like black denim. It's not like black women. It's not like women didn't wear like skin tight jeans before.
And it's
like
kind
cigarette.
It's only an eyesore if someone should not be wearing anything skin tight.
Yeah, I care more about whether you how you look rather
I feel like
than
it stands out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a discussion. Again, the women were talking about whether it was modest or not, and that's an argument or a discussion that's only going to happen in conservative circles because normal people don't have that discussion. They're not thinking about that. And certainly that sundress isn't something I would call immodest.
I saw this absolutely demented take from a man in the replies on SundressGate, and he like posted this. It looked like a costume from Spirit Halloween.
I saw it.
It was like an 1800s school marm outfit, and he was like, "More women should dress like this."
Look, it looked like she was about to. It looked like somebody who was about to go get water from a well.
Truly cringe.
She looked like she was about to go get water from a well.
It looked like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. It looked like,
impressive.
I mean, I just think you should try being normal, you know? And this dress, to me, it looks totally normal based on today's like contemporary standards for modesty. But that wasn't the main issue. I think the main issue for all of these women in having these arguments was that they thought it cost too much, which $130, that's a pretty
See, that's that they can get the guy involved in that one. He's like, oh, in this economy?
Yeah, but I mean, men think that all women's clothing is way too expensive.
Costs money. All right, let's go super chats.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, in 2015, a federal judge ruled that Warner Chappell has no copyright to Happy Birthday, only a specific piano arrangement. It is public domain.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
We got a $20 right there.
Incompetent Hands said, Mary, what's the Kama Sutra? Also, Mary, wait, the prime directive isn't a real thing. Mary will be the best authoritarian, even if she doesn't get Firefly. I've been told I'm fetal alcohol syndrome, Emil Hirsch.
Okay.
Nice.
Interesting.
I don't know what prime directive is.
Okay, so also, Emil Hirsch is an actor you don't hear a lot of these days.
I've never heard of that actor either.
Did you ever see Into the Wild?
Yeah.
No.
Based on the book of
Yes.
Christopher what's his name? Is it Chris McCandless? I don't remember
Chris
the guy's
McCandless.
Yeah. Was Emil Hirsch the one in The Girl Next Door? I believe it was the one in The Girl Next Door.
Yeah, he was.
I love The Girl Next Door.
Now I remember him.
We used to be a country. You can make a movie about a retired porn star moving into the house next door and then falling in love with a high school kid. That was the movie.
America.
So in the movie, she quits the porn industry and moves next door and falls in love with this high school senior who's never done anything promiscuous or adventurous in his entire life.
So she quits porn and her life just turns into a porno?
No. They fall in love.
In a way.
They fall in love.
Okay.
It's wholesome.
200 Watt Studio said, Quint from Jaws, a little lotion, a little tenderizing, swallow you whole. Shane H. Wilder said, who reads the newspaper? Seems like a waste of money.
Do people still
Some
read like
people,
actual
apparently.
newspapers? Guys, we are very close to a second crisis party. Let's get that. Perhaps you have thoughts on SundressGate.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said John Leguizamo is a canker sore. Okay, strongly worded. John Barrett said it's cold and rainy, no Celsius or Fahrenheit needed.
In relation to what?
All of these super chats are deeply confusing. Dull and Tired said he did great in Speed.
Yeah.
Who?
John Leguizamo.
Oh. Corey Anderson said, gents, if you want to get the ladies, you got to rizm with the tism. 60% of the time, it never works, but don't let that stop you from trying.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
That's, that's not a bad success rate. Joseph Fazio said, Pedro is the actor who will let women walk all over his characters. That's why he's always getting roles where he's a bitch. Is that true?
I mean, I don't know.
This is the
I mean,
Mandalorian.
that's just going to happen. Look, a lot
I
of
don't
men
think
these
that's
days
true.
to take their roles have to take roles that are going to be less than, favorable to them.
Tacti Platty said, I'm straight, white, Hispanic male. Boo John L. The L in Leguizamo is for his L's. Joe Watland said, people who don't like cats are people who need attention.
What?
I don't know. And then Dull and Tired said, people who like cats are people that need attention. So I don't know.
Thoughts.
I don't know what to think.
Deep thoughts.
John Barrett said, OMG, dogs are the best. Cats are for poor people mostly. What does any of this mean? High Vulture 75 said, I like dogs and cats. What does that make me?
A consensus builder.
An enlightened centrist. Wisco Welder said, Brett, you should get the Olight O-Pen Glow EDC pen light for movie reviews. It has a light on the pen tip.
Yeah, I mean, my handwriting is already kind of atrocious, so I imagine me writing in the dark, even with a tiny light, would be kind of atrocious too. And then I'll be reading it back later, and I'll be like, Jello, what? I don't know what that says.
I think that would be way more distracting than
You just hear
putting your phone on low brightness. Yeah. I don't want to hear you scribbling.
Scratch.
That would be very distracting.
Yeah.
Joe Watland said, I saw one on X that asked, would you rather be stuck in the desert with a woman or a dog? I mean, no one wants to be stuck in the desert anyways.
Right. Screwed either way.
What would make it a better experience? Probably the dog.
Water and a car.
Yeah. If I'm like,
Well, yeah.
Water and transportation. That's what would make it better. Is woman like code for car?
But the point of the hypothetical is that you have to pick one regardless. So would it be a woman or a dog?
This is the problem with hosting a podcast. Eventually you fall into some hypothetical every single day. It's the trolley problem every single day. That's what you're doomed to
Well,
in this job.
you have to take part. So
No, I do not. I do not.
What's your answer?
I don't have to answer.
Okay.
I
abstain?
proudly abstain from this question.
The Rumbling said, Anna is fine. Timothy is a rat face person. I would say Timothy looks more mouse-ish. Am I right? He looks more like a mouse than a rat.
yeah.
Tacti Platty said, I'll say it, Anya looks like a trans woman.
I don't think so.
I disagree. Why? What makes you say that? Because she's like, is she tall? She looks like a tall person.
I don't know how tall she is.
Carnell said Steve Buscemi is the gold standard of hot rat-looking men.
I mean, maybe he's the archetype of that person. I've been thinking a lot and writing down a lot about the idea of Hollywood archetypes, and may write an article about it. I was thinking about how
This is why Brett will never be happy.
Bill Pullman and Tony Goldwyn are essentially the same thing because they both played presidents. And if you imagine casting them in something, you just have a Bill Pullman or a Tony Goldwyn. They're kind of the same generic type.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of interesting to categorize them and name the archetypes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be able to do that. All I'd be able to do is give you examples and what they would be cast for in a way. So
200 Watt Studio said, I like women that are bovine pretty.
Isn't that collagen? Oh no, bovine is that
No,
marine?
it's like a cow.
Like a cow? Okay.
So you like them a little bit
thicker, huh?
Thicker. That's what we'll go with.
Like Miss Alabama.
Tacti Platty said, I am tactical platypus of memes handsome.
Okay.
Platypus handsome? Is that one of them? Joe Watland said it was a desert, not the woods.
Oh, okay.
And then he asked, why do people use the word gate after scandals?
Because Watergate was a thing, but they don't realize Watergate was the name of a hotel.
But then it's really Adam Baldwin's term, right?
I mean, there have been other guys. What were
Gamergate?
Gamergate was
There's been a ton.
Gamergate, but there was Watergate. What was between Watergate and Gamergate? There had to have been.
Comicsgate was
there's got to be others.
Gamergate, and then you had what else?
Calendargate.
Pizzagate. There's Pizzagate.
Are we gonna get demonetized for saying that? I have no idea.
Are we gonna get a context note?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stop while we're ahead. Corey Anderson said, ladies, do you like wearing sundresses? What about you?
I like wearing clothes that are comfortable and conventional for what I'm doing that day.
Would that ever be a sundress?
Could be.
What a reasonable answer. I would say I like sundresses.
Ooh, Deflategate. That's a good one.
What is that?
The footballs.
Footballs. Deflated
Brady.
footballs for like supposedly making it easier to throw, which makes perfect sense. That happening, but I have no idea if that's real. Oh, Stargate. Gate.
200 Watt Studio said sundresses on a pretty lady are the best. Diane Lane, am I right?
There's plenty of women that look beautiful in sundresses, and everybody should encourage women to dress feminine rather than masculine.
They should just dress however they want because that's empowering.
Of course.
Brett. Shane H. Wilder said, wait, the male gays are looking at women now?
Yes.
Yeah, they all went to conversion therapy. Corey Anderson said, more dresses, less yoga pants. And he also said, fats can look okay in dresses. I mean, yeah, like, I feel like people use the excuse of, you know, wearing leggings or yoga pants is just convenient. Like, it's just comfy and convenient. But a dress is also comfy and convenient. Yes. So why are you exactly so, like, repelled by them?
Yeah.
At least if you're, like, wearing a sundress, that's about the comfiest thing you can wear.
Yeah. I always try to hunt for dresses. Like, when I go to I usually go shopping at Goodwill. I would never pay $129 for a dress, but sundresses, any type of dress, the most comfortable thing that you could possibly wear, at least as a woman.
Can I confess something? I bought the Evie dress. I bought the Evie dress.
I love that you bought it.
And I maybe just bought it because I was so curious. Like, is it gonna be worth it?
It's a cute
It's like
dress.
taking the gamble on it, and I'm just curious about it.
I think there's a psychological reaction that when you pay more for something, you trick yourself into liking it, even if you don't necessarily like because you treat it with more reverence than you would something that you got for very, very cheap.
Maybe.
Right, because you tell yourself there has to be a reason why this is expensive.
The thrifting analog to that would be when you find something that should have cost more, and even if you don't like it a lot, you like it more because you got it for cheap.
Yes.
I end up giving away most of my thrift finds.
It's like it's a very Midwestern thing when somebody's like, "Oh, that's really nice. Oh, I got it for this much. It was on sale. Oh, I got it at the thrift store. It was only $10. I got
Thrifting has become way too expensive.
It is
because of the Depop girls who started the resale market.
It's very expensive, and obviously the availability of the internet now means that they just look up the price of something and then sell it for way more.
Mm-hmm. John Barrett said, hashtag freedom for mocha in studio soon.
I don't know what that means, but no.
I don't know why you think that a cat is going to be in this studio after Bocus.
There will be
That's
no
not gonna happen.
cat in the studio.
It didn't go well with Bocus, actually, at the time. He was scared of the money guns, and then we felt bad. We subjected him to that. Shane H. Wilder said, since everyone is talking about cats, I'm dropping a video tomorrow about how I come up with my ideas. Mary might enjoy it because it has a cat in it. Okay. I don't know why a cat would be in it, but I'm intrigued.
All right. We're just going to hang out now. And we're going to hang out now because, again, people get very mad when you don't stay the completely arbitrary 2 hour time limit every day. Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's funny. They're still talking about the dress in there. See that apparently they.
So people do care about the sundress.
Apparently they do.
They're opinionated.
They're opinionated on it.
Wear it with the Astro Boy boots.
The funny thing is I saw like do you ever like scroll Instagram and it tries to like trick you into opening threads?
Yes.
So it does, right? Like it'll like you think you're looking at a post and it's a freaking Threads account, and it was a bunch of like overweight people saying like, I'm this height, this weight, wearing a sundress, and I've never clicked off of something so fast. I guess to show the ability of the sundress to hide the fact that you're a fatty McFatterson, I guess.
It depends on the sundress.
Yeah.
I just hate that all women's clothing is basically made for the purpose of hiding fat. Because that's going to look like shit on fat and skinny people.
Force of Light Entertainment is in the chat right now. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
She said, "I need a new dress."
Well,
Go for the Evie dress.
Can you? Do you have the inclination to spend $129 on the Evie dress?
Or just buy it at Goodwill when all the people give it away.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to go find the most conservative neighborhood in America and then go to whatever thrift stores buy there, and probably by a couple months from now you will find at least one Evie dress there.
It was the morbid curiosity that convinced me, and the fact that I'm buying a piece of internet history. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always going to remember SundressGate when I wear it.
I did also see, I saw that Brittany Martinez says, like, the most controversial dress since this one. It was the one that was, like, whether people arguing whether it's black or blue or
white and gold.
Blue or white. Yeah. Yep.
I don't get what like activates people's anger these days. It seems like there's a new outrage every weekend on right-wing Twitter.
One of the crazy things is like, I always mean to, but I never do, is like keep a running list of the things that are controversial from week to week. Because by the end of the year, you will forget 80% of all the things that pissed people off.
Nobody remembers Calendargate now.
Nope, it's a thing of the past already. Nobody remembers.
Were you on the show when we talked about that? I forget.
I don't think so.
What happened that day?
Even Man vs. Bear will probably be forgotten by the end of the year.
Can we break that down? Because to me, if you're going straight logic, who is the apex predator in that situation?
Guys.
It's the human. It's the man.
Yeah.
This is not a feminist argument.
Well, I think what people pointed out recently says, if you think the bear will kill you quickly, you're wrong. What it will do is it will just pin you down and start eating you, and you will die very, very slowly.
And a man
very,
can't do that?
I guess.
Well, who was that one actor? They kept eating people. His name was like...
Armie Hammer did not eat anyone.
What if it's Armie Hammer?
Armie Hammer did not eat anyone.
He just
or Armie
couldn't
Hammer.
stop talking about how he wanted to eat people, but he never actually did it. So... maybe the guy that Glenn Powell was talking about was Armie Hammer.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So, I was out with this guy. He had a weird name. It was like Navy or Army or something. I don't know. But anyways, he took me back to his place, and then he had this weird, like, for some reason he started putting ketchup on my shoulders and calling it lotion. and frankly, it was disturbing.
Drewish AF said, "Thanks for the birthday wishes. LOL. Sorry I was absent for a while. I might have burnt my no-no places on my exhaust. I should have taken your advice."
Well, and maybe you need to get that,
Oh,
Chris.
my goodness.
Maybe you need to get that insurance policy on your junk that we were talking about earlier for Nick
There
Cannon.
you go. Yeah.
It just reminded me of that extremely cursed video where someone put a fleshlight in their car's exhaust pipe.
Where do you find this shit?
Do you remember that?
No.
You never saw that?
It's like Mary saying, "What, you've never heard the term bear, like bear between when gay men talking about?" Like, no, I've never heard that discussion.
I'm gonna have us show this. It was the most cursed video in existence. Okay. I'm sending you the link. We're gonna have a bonus cringe today because of
We
this.
should have shown the new Cities by Diana.
What is this?
You sent this to me.
Okay.
Here it is.
No.
Slow down.
Some guy just got some very bad ideas in that video. Don't do it, gentlemen.
That's actually the best use of a fleshlight I've ever seen. So
Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, that was extremely cursed. So I apologize to everyone who had to see that. But if I had to see it, you do too. High Voltage 75 said, "Wow, I didn't know that." Shane H. Wilder said, "WTF, Drewish."
People are asking whether you would do a calendar with. Oh, that's the next one.
Corey Anderson said, "Mary, would you be in a calendar like Josie?" No. I mean, if it's like a calendar like that, like, yeah, no. No offense to Josie or anything. It's just not. I don't want the smoke.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's not worth it.
And you know, I think that there were artistic choices that weren't the best.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing we were talking about with the sundress video. Like, why isn't she smiling? Why isn't she selling the atmosphere that this is supposed to embody?
Like, it should have been maybe like her strolling along the path, laughing and smiling with her date. Like she's with a date, you know, something like that. But she was modeling it as if she were wearing a bikini. Thank you. Tacty Flatty said, Brett, cringe of woman getting ick vid I sent you. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Question mark. We have a cringe from Tacty?
What was it that he sent? Yeah, he did send me one that was particularly bad. It was an Instagram video. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, hold on.
You watched it already?
Yeah, I watched it when he sent it to me. It was
Rhaegar Targaryen said, Mary not wanting smoke. Is Mary well?
What does that mean?
I guess you're not afraid of the smoke?
Usually. Okay, I feel like there is a confusion going around that I am a smoker. I do not smoke.
No, not like that. Wait, what?
I think some people got confused because they know that I use Zins.
No,
but
like,
I don't smoke. Like I never smoked.
Do you know the saying like, oh, they don't want this smoke?
Yeah, that's what I meant originally. I don't know. I don't know what that means though.
Well, I think that the differentiation is that Mary's not saying she's afraid of the smoke / flack. She just doesn't want it.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, was that Gorlock's flesh mitten attached to a car? Why are you being gross? Okay, I guess I started it by showing the video.
Is this what Mondays are like?
Yeah, they're used to the Dane energy on the show, actually. That's why they're acting like this.
Shane H. Wilder.
Shane H. Wilder said WTF.
I can't do it right now because I'm not logged into Instagram, so.
Show everyone what your password is.
I'll do that next time.
Shane H. Wilder said, WTF did I just watch? Burn that video. I'm sorry. I genuinely am sorry. That's going to be burnt into your neurons for years to come. Someone said Mary smokes Marlboro Reds. That's completely untrue. I have never smoked and I will never smoke.
If she did, that would be Marlboro.
Oh, so the video, the video that he sent me, I won't play the clip, but this woman calls into like a podcast and says like she was on a date with a guy and she got the ick because he took his leftovers home.
Oh.
She's like, it's giving poor energy.
That from her.
Like no, so the guy took home.
The guy took
his leftovers home. He had leftover pasta and he took it home, and she was just appalled by this and got the major ick because he took the pasta home.
I thought it meant that he took her leftovers.
No, he took his own leftovers.
That would have been terrible manners. No, but I don't know. Is that BM? Is that bad manners
to take your own leftovers home?
Every time I hear those stories, I can understand why they would get the ick. And I feel like there have been times where I'm hanging out with a guy and I've felt the ick coming on, but if I like them or I'm dating them or I think they're a good enough person, I try to ignore those ick thoughts.
You know, it wasn't him bringing home the leftovers. It was the fact that he couldn't finish his food. I think that was the real ick. Like she
makes the point. She does make the point. She says he didn't finish his food, but then she says it's giving poor energy.
Yeah, that's not reasonable. I think the reasonable ick is like seeing a man who doesn't eat enough. That just, it's not.
Yeah, he couldn't finish his food, so he had to get a doggy bag.
Oh, I'm so full.
That is kind of
I can't fit another bite. Like
this is why when women say that men have too high standards, it's laughable. Because you women do this to yourselves.
A little girly. It's a little
girly. Like it's true though. Like I don't want to out eat a man. That would give me the ick. I don't want to be the one who eats more.
As a reason to not approach the attempt a fulfilling relationship where he could again, this is imagine that he's got a great job, he's the right height, he does everything right, but then you're like, but he didn't finish his food, you deserve to be unhappy.
How can you have a fulfilling relationship with someone who gets full that fast? Tell me that.
Or it's planning ahead, and what he's doing is like, I know I will be hungry again later, so all it does is prove that he has the ability to think ahead. He's a planner. You can rationalize either side of this argument. Either way, you're rationalizing yourself out of a chance at a happy relationship. We will have
I actually
no sympathy
have
for you
seen
ladies.
guys say that they think it's a turnoff when a woman orders a salad instead of like a heavier meal.
That's ridiculous too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of ridiculous because, like, she's obviously just trying not to, like, gorge herself
Very
in front of you.
arbitrary. But, I mean, I know people that will date or not date people based on very arbitrary terms.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, like the way a guy's mustache looks. Like, I feel like a woman will go out with a guy because of his mustache when he has nothing else going for him. Or the opposite, a guy that's great and you go out with him, but he takes
They
home
like
his leftovers.
mustaches that much?
That's just an example.
That's
I don't
crazy.
actually know someone that's dated someone for their mustache, but I feel like women will like having a rat face. He looks like a rat. Oh, I want to go out with him.
Not a
Why?
good enough
It says
reason.
nothing about him. That's just my 2 cents.
I just think that maybe men will be a little bit happier because they're not going to hold, they're not going to have such ridiculous standards.
Men
I could
need
be
to
wrong.
raise their standards.
I
in
could
my
be
opinion.
I could be wrong.
Okay, Incompetent Hands said Pedro Pascal was in first episode of Buffy and promptly killed off as the good Lord intended. Jessica Alba could wear a paper bag and look good. Too bad she can't act her way out of one.
She's
Sick
not
burn.
she's not the greatest actor, but she's not a bad actress. It depends on the roles you give somebody like that, right? Somebody with Jessica Alba's looks and face is kind of predisposed to a certain type of role. I always go back to the show Dark Angel, where she absolutely has a very, very unique charisma that's tied inextricably to her beauty. And that's fine. It makes perfect sense. But I'm not looking for Shakespeare. I'm not looking for high art when it comes to stuff that she does, nor should you. In fact, I would argue that if you go in, it's like when people complain that some like Michael Bay movie is awful. Now, if you're a comic fan or a fan of the cartoon and you've got critiques of Transformers and you're like, look, it was nothing like the comics or the cartoon, that's fine. But if you're just somebody who went to a Michael Bay Transformers movie and your problem is that it's just kind of a dumb action movie and you don't like that, I would posit that you're the problem because you're the idiot who went to a Michael Bay Transformers movie and was expecting some type of piece of high art. It's not supposed to be.
Unless you ask Brett, then you would say
Then it's high art. Yes, then I would.
High Voltage 75 said, but how did you get hooked on Zins? Were you just curious? Literally, yes.
I told her not to.
This happened before. Like, I had never even thought about it, but a friend of mine just happened to, offer me one. And I was like, why not?
I said, don't do it.
But you weren't there, so you couldn't have stopped me.
But
this is your fault, Brent.
But when you
This is-
continue to do it, I said, maybe stop. Maybe don't do it. I don't think
I
it's
don't
a good
see
idea.
a good reason not to. I see plenty of good reasons not to smoke cigarettes. Like, that's been demonstrated already.
Yeah.
I don't see any downsides to Zins. I really don't.
It's the long-term health effects that could happen from the nicotine, but you're so young.
But what is the health effect of the nicotine?
It's not even just that.
It's a vasoconstrictor.
What I would say
Leads to
is
heart
think
attacks.
about anything that's physically addicting that then you have to worry about having them at any given time is a weight on you. Meaning that if it's something that you will have an adverse reaction if you have a craving for it and it's not there, you are now saddling yourself with the responsibility of making sure you always have it.
There will always be Zins.
Well, unless there's a Zin shortage, like there.
Or
there is.
yeah, I see that.
But I don't get adverse reactions from not
Like
taking
withdrawal,
it,
yeah.
like not having a Zin, So I think it's like, it's a very low dosage of nicotine.
How often do you go without it?
Like,
Is this
I have
an
2 a day,
intervention
and I don't feel like, I really need a Zin right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just
I feel
depends
like
on the
that's when
vibe.
you know you have a problem. Like when you get to that
Yeah.
point where you don't feel like yourself, if you don't have something, then it's a problem.
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll check back next year or the year after, and we'll see how things are going.
Mary
Yes, we
ages
will.
10 years, like 1 year.
All right, guys, did we get all of them?
We have one more from
Okay.
Rhaegar Targaryen. Yo, it's June, and I still don't know what the ick is.
Do you want to explain, Mary? Because you said that this is. I'm always critical of the world. Today, I say we've created too many terms for everything. Polyamory never needed to exist. I didn't need to know that you would just put up with being cheated on. I didn't need a name for that. Doormat is fine. But if you want to give it a name and a designation, I think that that's a problem because we've medicalized and pathologized literally everything as a way of excusing everything. But Mary says the ick is actually a very helpful term.
Yeah, I think it's helpful because it's distinct from a turnoff. Because the ick, I would say, is a totally irrational but extremely strong instinctual revulsion to someone's behavior that is totally benign behavior. Like, there's nothing wrong with what they did.
It has to
objectively.
be benign.
Yeah, they couldn't have helped it at all. They weren't even thinking about it. But it's just something that, like, makes you feel like I'm disqualifying you from my mating pool. Like, it's a very lizard-brained thing.
For instance, there are men and women, or I guess we've talked about the women being the ones who are kind of the ones who talk about the ick the most.
Yeah.
And that it's
men don't have the ick.
So women like, he has an Android phone.
Well, they try to come up with explanations.
They say it's giving poor, but you know, a new Galaxy or a new Note or a Z Fold phone costs as much as an iPhone.
And it could be, I don't like the way he types on his phone.
Yeah.
It would be something weird.
He walks with his toes bent in.
Yeah, like something like that.
You will never be happy, ladies.
I don't like the way that he ordered his food at the restaurant. He didn't sound like, you know, he was like questioning it, like he was nervous or something. Like the biggest one was like he gets nervous when he asks for napkins in the drive-thru at McDonald's. Like, that's an ick.
Okay.
But it's nothing. He didn't do anything wrong.
So a millennial woman tries to date a Gen Z man, and he makes her order the pizza over the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The Manic Mustache said, "My wife almost divorced me when my mustache went out for cigs and eggs. Luckily for the kids, he made it back."
Always good that you can grow it back.
Your wife is just with you for the mustache. Love that. And then Shane H. Wilder said, "There are worse things than a nicotine addiction, like furries, ecosexuals, Biden votes." Okay. I'm sure the list could go on. I completely agree.
It could. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. And thank you guys all so much for joining us today. Sarah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on this Monday. Check us out on castbrew.com. Go to our Twitter at castbrewcoffee and go to our Instagram too and follow us on there, castbrew_coffee. And if I have any creatives or meme makers out there, feel free to send me some memes, castbrew coffee memes, pop culture crisis, coffee lady memes, whatever. Send them my way because I want to start posting on our Instagram more. Thanks.
Nice.
Perfect.
We do have meme lords in the chat, so they will hop on the opportunity. You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen to this podcast rather than watch it, and if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, because we were banned on TikTok, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.